Yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, it was some dude named Jeffrey Hunter, and like their uniforms look different. Like they had like turtlenecks, these weird like turtlenecks. It was like super mustard yellow, and it was still Spock. I think they still had Spock and McCoy, but like all the other crews was different. And then yeah, I don't really know too much about like OG Star Trek, but I do know that yeah, like William Shatner, like he came in late because they like maybe they realized it wasn't working with the first guy, or he was just like that was more the vibe that they wanted. But yeah,
It's always a series
I'm
I
gonna have to
like
look
wanted
into
to
that. I
get
mean, I'm
into,
not a big
but I just
Star Trek
can't.
fan, but
yeah, same. It's a little too heady, but
yeah.
you know what doesn't take a whole lot of brain power, Batman. So let's talk about some Batman. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first inaugural episode of Two Old Souls, a show where two guys who like old stuff talk about old stuff because they're too old for whatever's happening now. I'm gonna work on that. Don't you worry. All right. So yeah, guys. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? I am Michael. I'm one of your hosts for this evening, afternoon, morning's entertainment. Whenever you're listening to this shit.
And I am Andrew. I am the other co-host of the Two Old Souls, and I can't wait to talk about Batman,
And we
all the
got
movies.
yeah, and we got a special guest today. Very good friend of ours. We've all been hanging out mostly at Red Robin. It seems like for the past 5 years, but we can't do that right now because COVID. And I miss me some bottomless steak fries, and I'm not about to order some like takeout because they're hella dry once you get there, and it's just not worth it. But anyway, so
I
friend of
agree.
our friendship, for sure to be regular friend of the podcast. Please introduce yourself.
What up, y'all? It's Saville here to talk about some Batman.
He's,
Let's go.
he's bouncing up and down on his little bat ball. So
I was wondering what that was. I was gonna ask you that, but you can maybe tell us what you're doing.
I'm doing squats, y'all. I'm doing
I
squats
know
for my
he's
Batman
staying.
outfit
So
because
it's yeah. So
I like to
when the
show the abs. So
camera does like a whip pan when he squeezes into his bat butt, it's all nice. It's nice and tight. But we'll get
uh
there.
huh.
We'll get there. Yeah. So I mean, how do you guys want to go? I mean, we spent the last couple weeks ago, we like feverishly watched all the Batman movies for the most part. I left a couple things out because I have a life. But how do you guys want to just jump right into it? Like, should we go movie by movie
I
and then
didn't
discuss, or like talk
I
about our
didn't get
earliest
into the
memories?
sure all that. I
Okay.
just didn't. I just want to say I didn't get to watch the Adam West one yet, so I
Okay.
won't have much to say when we
That's
talk
okay.
about
That's
that
okay.
one. This has been a long time. I seen it when I was a kid.
That's
Just
fair.
watched the show, Green Hornet, all
Hmm.
that. Some great
Yeah.
stuff.
I say we just go movie to movie.
Movie to movie, and then yeah, we can just go movie
Sure.
to movie and then save
Hmm.
like the lineups for last. I like that. Okay.
hmm
All right, for
Yep.
sure. So yeah,
So,
this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Tim Burton. Tim Burton, Batman. Is that what we're starting with?
Well, Seville and I watched Batman 66, so maybe we could go into that a little bit, but we probably won't spend too much time there
Mm.
because I don't have too many opinions or too many thoughts. So, Seville, I think you watched it probably more thoroughly.
I did. Well, I
Okay.
mean, I had kind of seen it like back in the day.
Mhm.
And that was the only Batman movie for a very long time.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, when I did watch it again, it was great to actually, sit down and remember everything about it. But I mean, as cheesy as it is
Mhm.
now by today's standards, um, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you watch
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
the TV show back
Oh,
then,
it's so
Yeah.
all
entertaining.
this was just the TV show, just longer.
Yeah, like
So,
it didn't even it
Yeah.
felt like nothing like they just wanted an excuse to film a really long episode with more money and
Yes.
stuff. But yeah,
hmm
I
and they
like
got
that.
exactly what they
I like that
wanted.
Batman. I
Yeah,
love that.
no, he plays it
Yeah.
super straight. That's the thing. Like, I don't know, I feel like once I realized, oh, I kind of feel like I'm watching like a Mel Brooks movie or something like that. Like it kind of really reminded me of stuff like yeah, like Young Frankenstein or whatever, where it's just like it's ridiculous, but they're playing it super straight and like there's signs that label literally everything, and it's pretty. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, oh, it's like a Looney Tunes bit or something like that.
hmm
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's literally just right out the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what that Batman was.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything straight out the comic book. Hella colorful, cheesy, just fun, funny stuff
Mm-hmm.
happening all the time. I mean, I think the beauty of that movie is that you had 5 villains
That's true. They
all
did
working
that. They did that
together,
shit before Spider-Man 3. Like,
right? And like it didn't seem like there was a fight for someone having more time and screen time or
that's
lines
true.
than the other person.
Yeah.
Like I feel it was pretty equal,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all pretty much either all on the same screen at the same time, or they did their part, but you weren't feeling like one was way more than the other.
Yeah, it was like a
So
buddy comedy
I
or
did
something.
enjoy that.
Like they were all like one unit. So that's nice. You know, you want to see the bad guys working together even.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed that was actually
Oh
pretty
yeah.
interesting was like, so there's like actually a couple times where like Adam West gets in a fight as Bruce Wayne. Um, I forget, like maybe they're attempting to kidnap him or something. But he throws down and it's super
And
like
yes, yes.
stage punchy, obviously. Like the punches, you don't see the punches connecting at all. But I noticed that when he got in that fight, like they only do the bang pow thingies on screen, like when he's actually suited up as Batman. But if he's fighting, when he was fighting as regular Bruce Wayne, like it was just a crappy stage fight. I'm like, oh shoot,
Oh,
put a
okay.
little thought into that, you know? Like,
Right.
That's a good observation. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I just get visual memories when I think about like that era of Batman. I'd watch it as a kid. It'd be like on AMC, like when the Three Stooges line up or whatever.
Mhm.
But I just remember things like if someone was bleeding, like their whole face would be like red or
Mhm.
something, or when they're climbing up a building, it was just the camera tilted because their
Yes.
capes are still like hanging down. So stuff like that, stuff you would see like in a music video now or something. But it was pretty cool. It's like it's creative, and they didn't have a lot to work with. Oh, let me grab the
No, I mean there was no kind of CGI back then. There was no
Mhm.
kind of, like there were special effects, but not the best. I mean, even the scene where he gets bit by the shark at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
and like totally see it's a rubber shark, and I mean, again, it's a good movie, but it's stuff like that that turns people off. Like, why does Batman have shark repellent
Or
in
why
his
is he like
suit?
running around with a big like Looney
Why does
Tunes
he ever think
bomb?
he's gonna
thing?
need that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Well, he's always prepared. I
Like,
mean,
I'm
maybe,
just gonna
yeah.
run around and
I mean, people always like think the thing about Batman is like, at least especially like in the comics and like I guess later in the cartoons and like especially with the Justice League stuff, he's like hyper prepared for every single possible scenario. So I feel like maybe that was kind of the start of it, like, or that was sort of like the genesis of it. Like a cartoon character, literally, yeah, he just has to reach behind him and he's got whatever he needs for that exact situation. So you can kind of, I feel like you can
yes.
sort of draw a line to that.
I feel like Adam West's Batman was way more prepared for any given scenario
That's
than
true.
the later Batman.
We'll get to
Like,
we'll get to Keaton and his
like,
arguable underpreparedness, but yes.
Oh well, not just Keaton, not just Keaton.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
He was
like,
the
if you
yeah.
look in the Bat cave, he had everything was labeled and you knew what it was. Like he had everything that was in there.
He's definitely the most
So
organized
he was ready.
Batman.
But
Yes.
yes, but of course, my question is, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Where does he keep all that stuff on his bat belt? Like, let's be real. He has not that many compartments, but you got.
He's not a
stuff.
big guy either. Not the biggest waistline for that
No.
belt. No.
No. I mean, there's easily like 10 pockets on that thing. So you could carry 10 things at once.
They just look like post-it. They just look like big ass post-it notes too. They're just like yellow squares.
If you look at like I guess the time period too, that movie came out in the '60s,
Mhm.
and I guess this
Yes.
TV and movies back then too. Like there's just a lot of outrageous antics that happen in these fucking movies. I think that's like the era of
People were doing drugs a
that,
lot.
like Secret Agent. Yeah, Secret
Like-
Agent movies were
Like
coming out.
like James Bond, Get Smart, stuff like that.
Mm. When did In Like
Mhm.
Flint come out? Like that's
Probably
when
around the same time.
famous ones too,
Yeah.
right?
I haven't seen that. I just know that was a
70s.
big influence on like Austin Powers and stuff. But I need to see
Yeah,
that.
It's his favorite movie.
Yeah.
He says it's his favorite.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I like that it's outrageous.
Yeah,
That's what
that's the point.
like I remember about it.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
but in that world, it's not outrageous like in what they're presenting you like, but they're not giving you like everything
No.
is outrageous, so therefore it's
No
normal.
one
And
cared. Like
Mhm.
no
they're
one.
giving us. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anyone cared at the time that he didn't have space for all this stuff he was pulling out of his utility belt. You know, just
Mm-hmm.
he needed it. He reached in. It was there, and you were just like, cool. Like like that's awesome.
So at that
He's
point,
ready.
it's like
But I think
I mean, you can't beat that. But you're not gonna get through all that stuff in 30 minutes. Like, you can't get from point A to point B and beat the villain and be home for dinner and. All
Well, that's
that
why
stuff.
that's why every episode was a two-parter.
I was gonna say it didn't take 30 minutes. He got
Mhm.
caught. He got caught every half an
but
hour.
you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
this. If we want to get technical, like the time span of these shows, it would be a lot longer than they should all be hour shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the case. You get Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, for sure. I counted one thing I did. I was like I tallied a lot of stuff while we were doing this, and I probably lost some, but I wrote down 15 like Robin like holy blah 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 blah, blah Batman like. So it was really weird. Couple of
In
my
the first one or the whole
movie or
the whole series?
no, just no, just within this movie. So from what I saw, like
Okay.
let's see, a couple of ones that stuck out. Holy hydration, because they literally turned like the UN leaders into like sand,
You're
like
right.
like kinetic sand,
Yep.
because they were all different colors. Holy marathon, I'm getting a stitch, Batman. Holy bikini, that was close. I don't really know. Yeah, so
I get it.
yeah, I'm not gonna go over. Yeah, we understand the gist for sure. But yeah, it definitely has its place, and it's crazy to think that that movie's like 64 years old now. Am I right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, yeah, Adam West has since passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
64.
gotta give it to
54.
the OG. Like,
54. My bad. Yeah, 54. But still, that's
Yeah.
super old. It's almost as old as my parents. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the stuff we know
I mean,
real good?
I would argue that anytime someone would want to dress up as Batman, that's like the image you immediately get.
Yeah.
Like I think you'll see that costume more than like an actual like movie Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Tim Burton one, but
Mhm.
I tend to picture like that style of Batman as everyone's Halloween costume. Just
Yeah.
Because of like what it looks like and that's actually what the superhero looked like.
That's true. He was the
That's
first to
true.
do like
Very true.
gray suit and darker cowl. Did it before Ben Affleck, but you know.
Mm.
All right. So we moving on to Batman 89. Batman Michael Keaton Batman, first one.
Do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I got the cliff notes up right now.
Did we all go see this at the Draft House together? Did all three of us go for that?
I remember going to that.
Yeah, I think we all
'Cause
went.
I just
I think
That was
so.
that was during the Burton Fest thing that they had.
Because I just remember being so like pleasantly like surprised at like a lot of the humor that was in it that I didn't remember.
Mm.
Some of the shit that Jack Nicholson would say, or you know, it's, that was a fun experience.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
That's like my favorite line in like movie history.
Is that essentially to say like, get off my Kool-Aid, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, just a certain. I've told you guys this before. Like, I really like Keaton's Bruce Wayne, even if like he looks super unassuming. You know, like he looks like he looks like Billy Joel for most of it, and then he's just like Steve Jobs in the cave at one point. But
Oh my God. Yes,
as far as like you really get the sense that this guy was really screwed up by this experience he had, and he's constantly trying to make sense of it and figure out like what he's doing and why he's doing it. It's kind of nice to see, like, not so like it's got that he has the obsession, but he's not quite so singularly focused, so it's kind of nice to see that. And you know, like he's like, oh, could I have like a normal relationship with this photojournalist I just met like 3 days ago and who already knows who I am, but I got stuff to do at the same time.
And he
And I
wasn't
think
also. He
for
also
this
wasn't.
one, I was just gonna say he didn't seem very playboy-ish
Mm-hmm.
in this Batman.
He was more
I
of like
think
a
they
recluse.
did not focus on that aspect of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was just hidden away.
Mm-hmm.
He focused on the business, and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So when this woman kind of came around, it was like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, totally.
So, like, I'm not used to none of this. So I thought that was a cool take on it than just later movies with him just with lots of girls.
He can just have it all. He's just really
out
good
all
at
the
that.
time.
He's pretty good at that work-life balance.
It was cool also because he was already Batman. It wasn't really like an origin.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of expand on it a little bit, but it didn't start off with like all this, nonsense at the
Montages.
beginning of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was already Bruce Wayne. He was already in the middle of his routine, so
Mm-hmm.
that was cool. And he wasn't like a pompous Bruce Wayne either. Like that kind of goes hand in hand with being the playboy. He wasn't also like super cocky.
Yeah.
He was kind of confident,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little naive at some point.
It's
but,
it's
like,
Japanese. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Because I bought it in Japan. That's so good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's I'd give him like I don't know, like a 3 out of 5 for Bruce Wayne.
Okay. Yeah, I see that for sure. And I mean, the eyebrows don't. I mean, it's like like Tim Burton was really fixated on playing up the duality of like Batman and Joker, and I think it's just nice that Keaton and Nicholson both just have really distinctive eyebrows. Like I'm probably just the only person who's really thinking about that, but like we all saw Beetlejuice, and Michael Keaton played a guy who's all white with green hair and is like freaking crazy and horned up. He did that shit first. He had the first bite at the apple.
He also, I think with Bruce Wayne, he also wasn't Michael Keaton's not a badass.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of had to form his own like image over time, I think. But
Yeah.
he's not like this like cool badass that I think Bruce Wayne is.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Kinda,
Yeah.
They kind of he became that. I don't think it ever started off like that.
Mhm,
But it seems like
mhm.
over time, he's just like this fucking badass that is super serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I took little notes here. I called it "Who Could Have Been." So you guys might know some of this already, but this is just the people that they like considered for Batman and Joker as they were casting it. Some of this stuff was surprising to me. So Batman, I don't know if these guys auditioned or at least maybe who the studio wanted. So other people who were considered included Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Harrison Ford, Bill Murray, Dennis Quaid, Pierce Brosnan, and Willem Dafoe.
Okay, time out. The only person that really stood out on that list was Bill Murray. Like, you're trying to tell me a Ghostbuster is now going to be Batman?
I mean,
let's be real.
I don't know yet. I think, they probably
I
were
think they
like
made this-
coming off the Adam West a little bit, like, making it like a comedy or some shit, but yeah.
I think
'cause
of
you
all
couldn't
those
just,
names,
like,
that was...
transform your image
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can now. You could take like a break and come back as like this whole new reborn ass actor or whatever performer and like regenerate. But you weren't you can go from Ghostbusters to being like the Cape Crusader. I don't know.
No.
Do Garfield.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
would have
for sure.
bought it. It
No.
wouldn't have been believable. Like, it wouldn't have done what it did.
You imagine like Willem Dafoe being like, "I want you to tell your friends about me. I'm not gonna kill you."
I mean,
Harrison Ford?
luckily...
As Batman.
Yeah.
No.
Well, because he was a box office draw.
Yeah,
And I think that's what they were looking for.
that's true.
Not so much would he have been a good Batman. It's just like, okay, look,
But
we need people to
he
come see
wants
this
his
movie.
face to be seen though. He doesn't want to be in a
He,
mask.
he has but also he just has the most like, as far as like lower halves of faces go, he doesn't exactly have the most like imposing like you know, from the nose to the jaw. He always looks kind of disinterested and bored, like even or like frustrated with whatever's going around him. Like he just
would have had the female.
yeah.
It would have been the female audience.
Yeah,
They
he
would've,
just he just
it
looks
would've
really
been that-
obliged.
Yeah, it would have been for the female.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for Joker, some of these were pretty interesting. So we had Tim Curry, David Bowie, John Lithgow, Ray Liotta, James Woods, and Robin Williams.
I think
Tim Curry sounds
any
like
of
that
those
would've been
choices
Yeah.
cool.
would have been good.
Curry was actually the original voice
Tim
in
Curry,
the
I
animated.
would've loved.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the original voice in the animated before
Yes.
they recasted him with Mark Hamill. So, but yeah, that dude, I mean, like his face and stuff, I'm just picturing like Rooster and
He's just
Annie.
He's just so funny.
Yeah, that's true.
He's the guy
He's
from
funny,
Clue,
so
right? And
yeah.
He's
But you know,
the,
I
he's
don't-
the doorman in Home Alone. Right.
Yes, he is. Yes, yes.
Okay, the hotel guy. Yeah.
But you know what? I don't
yeah,
think.
he's fucking hilarious.
But he's hilarious. But I think it would have been hard to disassociate him as Pennywise and Joker.
Okay, sure.
Because of the
Yeah,
makeup,
so he did
because
get
of
to
all that
play
stuff. Like,
scary clown guy
Him
a couple
just
years
being
later.
Pennywise, yeah, was scary clown. Fine. Like I think if he was Joker and then scary Pennywise, he wouldn't have been as scary. Because people are like, oh yeah, we know
Yeah.
you're the Joker.
Yeah.
You know, but one clown makeup is enough.
Yeah.
So, good choice
Yeah.
for Curry and just not have done it.
Yeah. Also with just
What
like
about
the sort of
Williams? Was he
Robin
ready
Williams.
for-
Robin Williams, I feel like would have been
Was he
overboard.
ready for that? 'Cause, I mean, he had.
Well,
I mean, yeah,
He'd have been a little overboard.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just hard to see like that menace. I think the thing with Jack Nicholson that I really like is there's just like there's like you're kind of laughing uncomfortably, but I think like there's always a little part of me that's actually just kind of scared of him. Like on the fucking VHS box, it's just a picture of him in the corner like a publicity photo, and that just even that image used to scare me as a kid. Like I would like look through it with like through my fingers as a kid just because. Yeah, Jack Nicholson's just always scared me. So that's probably where I'm coming from with that.
He's a freaky looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
everything he's been in, he's a little off. I like the Joker. I didn't really understand like the
Like-
backstory on him. I still don't really get it. But he was cool.
Like
Like, like all the quotes.
His aptitudes were in science, chemistry, and fine art. A little bit like, yeah. But yeah, his motivation was good. Like he was just jealous of like the publicity Batman was getting and stuff. So like he didn't really want to. I mean, I think this is the first time he actually did want to kill him, maybe. But at the very least, yeah. And that he was just. It was a weird love triangle thing. Like I didn't really realize that. Like you don't really see that ever in like superhero movies, or like. The love interest is kind of between the hero and the villain. Unless you count like the mask. But well, that's another conversation too. But
No, we don't. We don't.
where do you guys stand on the Prince soundtrack? Because I feel like people either love it or people either like super hate it.
I mean, I will say this. I did listen to it when it was out. There's probably like 3 tracks that are that I listen to constantly on that album, and then there's a bunch of stuff that I'm just like, okay, this was just not necessary.
It was just filler. Yeah.
But it's. I mean, I can't say it's a smart move on Prince's part.
It was
because
weird,
he
yeah.
was forced into doing it.
Oh, he was? I didn't know
So,
that.
and
By
you-
what? How does anyone
Oh,
force
yeah,
Prince into
because-
doing anything?
Because he had a contract with Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And he had to make so many albums. And then after one point, he was like, I don't want to make these albums anymore. So he put out a bunch of, I don't want to say shit, but like
Junk
shitty
food. Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
to fill these albums. And then kept all the good stuff for him later when he was out of his contract.
Right,
So
right.
that's why he was a solo artist on this, because it had to be a Prince album and he had to fulfill a contract need. Which is, why a little of some of it is kind of weird. But I mean, fucking Party Man.
I know. I was gonna say,
That's the jam.
"Oh
I don't care
hail,
what you say
the
in
new
that
king
movie.
in town."
That- that gets you hyped in the
Yeah.
movie for the villain. You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's not even
true.
a.
It's basically the Joker's
It just
theme
gets you hyped
song.
for the villain.
It's his theme song. Not a lot of villains actually get their own
Mm-hmm.
song, but yeah. I was at Comic-Con like 2 years ago, and there was a group of guys cosplaying, and it was just like I really respect people who really like commit to a bit, and it's like performance art. Like it was that scene. So the guy who was Joker, he had the little like painter hat on, and I think he it was cool because he already had his face. It was like splashed, so half of it was like flesh colored and half of it was white. And then he had goons. His friends were like his goons, and they actually had like the bomber jackets like perfectly recreated, and they just had a boombox, and they were just like prancing around the convention floor with Party Man like on repeat.
I was
I
gonna
mean
say something
that
about that.
that song, and I mean, you can't go wrong with the Bat Dance video. Like, I just really enjoy it. Like, it took the movie and summed it up without giving you like clips of the movie.
That's just good
You
marketing,
know,
I think.
and
Yeah.
I thought that was really creative. And,
Like,
you know,
it's
you,
really
you, you
interesting
knew what
that,
happened
like-
just by watching that video. It was like summed up the whole thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Andrew. My bad.
I think it's really interesting, like at least with music, that he was so fed up with his label and Warner Brothers that he decided to just like fuck off and do just do filler music, but like that stands the test of time with a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
I bet you there's like Batman fans out there that don't know any other Prince songs except for that. fucking
Probably,
soundtrack 'cause they love
yeah.
Batman so much.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's people that love it or hate it. So I mean, and then he has his own so he's made impacts on different like worlds too, like not just the music world, but now it's comic book world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty cool.
That is
like,
pretty
even though
dope.
he went through like maybe we missed on like a really good Prince album instead, but
Mm-hmm.
that's he's still talented enough to make that impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing.
For sure. Oh,
my opinion.
yeah. Another thing I'm also keeping track of, just out of curiosity, is like the number of people, like, because in the movies, more often than not, like more often than you would think, Batman actually kind of kills people. So, on my body count, I think he kills. Well, there's at least 3 instances where he kills. So there can be an argument to be made for some of this. So he definitely sends a dude falling to his death in the bell tower in the church. I'm wondering if there were I'm wondering how many people were inside Ace Chemical when he blew it up. Cuz they were like they ran up and they like emptied out their clips, right? And then he just like lets the little mine thing pop out, and then the whole place goes up.
There's a
So
couple of things that come to my mind. One is the conversation in Clerks where they talk about blowing up the Death Star and how many independent contractors.
oh, that's
they probably
true.
killed.
Yeah.
And is the rebellion really that good? Because those are probably innocent people that are just living there. Whatever. And the other one is maybe
But
his
are they
weapons are all
innocent?
non-lethal.
Non-lethal. This is a non-lethal grenade that I'm using to blow up this chemical
Might just be
factory.
Straight up non-lethal weapons. Like he called Todd Heller or Tom, whatever his name is from Mystery Men.
I don't make weapons that kill. I don't make anything that's kill. Totally non-lethal, but totally effective.
It was a flamethrower.
But you could make the argument that he didn't technically really kill anyone.
That's true. I was gonna say the Joker
Because-
at the end, the gargoyle fucking killed him because it was tied to his ankle.
He tried to help him.
That's true.
Like, let's be real. He didn't kill him. He tried to help him, and it just didn't work out. The guy on the bell tower, I mean, he was already a criminal. He was trying to attack Batman, so that's kind of self-defense. So he didn't, he didn't, I'm gonna go murder him. No, he knocked him off to defend himself, and we don't know if the guy survived. He could have,
he just
made
brought
his
a
way out of
bomb
the
to a
church.
gunfight.
That's true.
Exactly. Ace Chemical Plant, he blew up a bunch of criminals.
Hey, those guys know what
You
they're
know,
doing
like,
when they get into that life.
maybe
they brought
he
guns to
did.
the
That's
fight.
true. I mean, I don't know. Like organized crime is
There.
one thing. That's a whole other argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a deleted scene where he goes and saved everyone after the explosion. But
Maybe.
no.
Maybe.
I mean, look at the show The Boys now. You know, we don't know what superheroes were really doing.
That's true.
So.
When the cameras aren't on them, so that's valid. Yes.
That
So.
I remember when that
Yeah.
book came out and I started reading it. I read it because Simon Pegg was like he was the likeness for the character.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading
Uh-huh.
it, and that should like the first 5 issues were really good. It got a little carried away, but that show was incredible. Like this, I'd never read a comic book like that. Then Kick-Ass came out, and then
No.
The edgy,
That show is
the edgy
amazing.
R-rated superhero
And-
aesthetic.
Yes.
and
And
they
it could
do
only work
crazy-ass
today.
shit in the
Like
book.
this could have worked 10 years ago.
Like to execute a show for it. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
I guess a show for it back then.
I still need to
Yeah,
see
I
it,
wouldn't
but
do that.
I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
we'll definitely talk about that at some point. Yeah. Any other? Well, obviously we don't get to see him further, but how do you guys think Billy D would have been as Two-Face?
Mm,
That was also a weird choice.
he was just a little underwhelming. I didn't.
Yeah.
He was just like a face.
Yeah, for a guy who's like
No pun intended.
for a guy who's like so charismatic, I guess, but he just comes off he's just there. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was just like fan service when what they were doing with that.
Mhm.
I didn't. I wasn't watching Batman when it came out like that. I was
Yeah.
just born, and I wasn't even born when the first one came out. So
Neither was I. Saville, you were the only one who was alive for this one.
I didn't
I
like.
know.
I, didn't,
I don't
go into,
think.
the next one thinking
Yeah.
what villain are they going to use?
Yeah.
Two-Face?
Yeah, totally.
Right. And I don't even think they did. Like, I think they just
Mm.
made the character without
Yeah.
ever thinking eventually down the road we could
Right.
use them.
Like, how we'll
need
do
to
it,
put
yeah.
people in here that people could associate with.
That's true, because
And,
like
I mean, even at the
Christopher
time,
Walken.
I didn't even know that was Two-Face.
Yeah, because even then, like Michael Keaton was such
So-
like he was mostly just known for like he wasn't exactly a star. People knew who he was, but he was more known for like comedies and stuff like that, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So guys, all right. So any other thoughts on that?
As much as, well, yeah, just really
Yeah.
quickly,
Mhm.
as much as I like this movie, rewatching it, I just took time to see who used the most gadgets
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of gadgets everyone had.
Okay, yeah, for
and I
sure.
just gotta say, of this movie, his gadgets were very lackluster. Like, he had things, but
Yeah.
it's like it wasn't like cool things. Even
Ye-
though Joker was like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, where did he get all these toys?" Okay, yeah, that's great, but I mean, he just had bat hooks and batarangs
And like the
normal Batman
weirdly
crime stuff.
specific zip line thing, and like little
Yes.
smoke pellets that didn't actually really do anything. Like it took forever. Like it's like, psh.
You totally saw him escape.
Yeah. Like, where's that ninja training coming
But I
in,
will
man?
say though, he did have some really cool vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I will
We'll
say,
definitely get to
he-
that as we will at the end. We can definitely talk about just how those all stack up. So all right. So I guess now we can go on to Batman Returns, and this dude, I don't know, like there's something I still don't really know how I really feel about this movie. Like it's a visual feast, that is for sure. But it is just like I'm really
Yes.
uncomfortable most of the time watching it. But I guess that's the point.
I never knew what that was about that movie until you just said it. Like a lot of the scenes are very uncomfortable to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the most appetizing movie, I guess.
No,
but
no.
I did really like it when I first saw it. I still really like it. I remember it a lot more than I remember the first one. There's little things that happened in it that stuck with me. I also think I taped it off TV one day, so I would watch it here and there. But no, I mean, but the character accuracy, it's not always like with the Penguin. I thought it was a little overboard. But overall, I think it's a solid movie.
As like a top to bottom, I would say yeah, it's a much more like confident vision from Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my Batman movie. This is my version of what a Batman movie is and stuff. It's also the horniest Batman movie, I would say. Like,
Oh god.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's weird because when I first watched it, I don't think I picked up on any of that. Like, it just kind of went over my head. and you just saw the Penguin as this, person who just, he had his own agenda,
Mm-hmm.
but you kind of just gloss over the whole him objectifying women, for that time being. He was kind of in the office and whatever. Until I started rewatching it, then I was just like, oh my god, like, dude, like this could not fly today. Like
Mm-hmm.
how all this is going down. I mean, but I still enjoy that movie.
Maybe
That
it would
movie
be
is
like good social
hands
commentary.
down.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Could you imagine what it'd be like if a really disgusting, pasty, fat guy who says really lewd things about women could ascend to a very high position of political power? Like, oh,
Whoa,
perish the thought.
that's like a stretch.
I do want to like give Danny DeVito props though for like that role.
Oh,
I
he
don't think
acts his ass off. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen him do anything like that.
yeah.
Like he's an incredible performer just
Mm-hmm.
in what he does, but like that was so over there that you can't not appreciate it. I feel like at the same time, I think he did pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the villains in these first two Burton movies, they got right.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got people who looked or acted like the people they wanted as the villain.
Mm-hmm.
DeVito just fits the Penguin so good, and you overlook the whole fat suit thing towards the end of the movie, and you don't really care. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I mean, that's just like it fits, and then everything after this kind of was just like
People are just
not
trying to
gelling
shoot
at
for
all.
those highs, but like, oh, I just have to play it super big or whatever. But yeah, there was definitely something to these performances where it's like, it was just like, yes, there was a campiness to it, but there actually was like a sense of like menace and danger. I would say like you're kind of like as much as you're
Yeah.
kind of turned on by like Catwoman, like you're also pretty fucking scared of her too. Like,
You also they do a good job of making you feel for each character. At
that's
some point,
true.
You
Yeah.
do like
Burton likes
on
the
the
freaks. Yeah, he's all about the outcasts.
you do. You of course appreciate Batman. Then you also understand why Selena Kyle's that way because her fucking boss and threw her
Mhm.
out a window.
Mhm.
And it's just like that you feel like why they are like that. You understand it, and then you just then you just see who's gonna crash first, I guess. And
That's true.
essentially
Yeah.
not Batman.
Bruce
Who
Wayne.
saves somebody, and that's
Dude, can we talk for a second about how shitty? Okay, so we have Christopher Walken, and that's like before he became this kind of like comedic figure. This is like pre-cowbell Christopher Walken. But then you have the guy who plays his son is just trying to do a shitty Christopher Walken impression the entire time, so you buy that they're father and son. It was super distracting. He's like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, get to safety.
what is that accent?
I mean,
What the
even
fuck-
that
I don't
casting
even-
was
I
kind
don't
of
even know where
spot
that's
on
from.
too.
He's from Kansas.
Oh, not here.
In Kansas.
Is that how Dorothy's supposed to sound
Yeah.
in The Wizard of Oz? Is that what we're doing here?
Sweet Lord.
No, yeah. I mean, Christopher Walken just amazing in that movie. He, like, to me, that's the real villain.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
that's
Yeah.
true.
It wasn't really Penguin. It wasn't really Catwoman. It was him. And in the end, he got his just desserts, and they got the villain, and it kind of was like a team up, really. Like they all kind of teamed up in a way to get.
I mean, absolutely, he's the.
in some way, shape, or form.
That's true. I could see that.
I like the end scene where they like all kind of they just like tie it together with when he
They're-
pulls his mask off. It's also like tediously pisses me off because like
Oh
I
yeah.
protect you if you can just fucking rip it off. It looks cool like with that. I wonder
That
if there's
was-
an action figure
They
that
pulled
looks like
that,
I
dude.
don't know.
It looked like when you pull it looked like when you pull an airhead apart. Like it had that exact same consistency.
In Half Baked when he eats the Abba Zaba.
Yeah. It's got that like that gummy taffy consistency.
I'm like, if
But
it's that easy to take your mask apart, like you would have did that every day. You tore it off when you got undressed.
Well, I know, like, I've seen pictures of, like, you see the closet and they're just hella bat suits.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how it was.
They're on little
It's
plastic hangers. That's the best part. Like he's just like,
And
I don't.
maybe that's why, because he rips them every time
Yeah,
he takes
that's
them off.
true.
'Cause
That's
he
true.
doesn't know how to take them off.
Yeah.
Could you just imagine, like, his trash and you just go through
can't-
it and it's just ripped up bad.
Recycling is not like rubber's not sustainable. You can't recycle that shit.
No,
They need
no,
they need some kind of
not at all.
like canon breakdown of how he disposes of things and how he, like, who installed all that shit besides him and Alfred. Like,
His
we all know
waste
that didn't
disposal,
happen.
absolutely. That's
Listen, Andrew, that's exactly what I was thinking for the next movie. Like, who is he hiring? Because at first, this one did a good job of, when things went wrong, he was fixing them. So when they fucked up the
oh yeah, that's
Batmobile,
true. In like capsule mode,
he
yeah.
stayed in the Batcave and he fixed it. Okay, great. But where did he learn how to do all that? Is my question. But
He did a semester at
he's gotta
UTI
have
before
some
going to
kind
ninja
of-
training.
He went to University
Probably.
of Phoenix.
Yeah.
like, either he has a secret team of construction workers that is doing this Batcave and maybe, like, he's paying them off and they don't ever say anything, or it's like the Prestige where he hires a bunch of blind people to do all his
Oh, I forgot
construction.
about that shit. Oh, spoiler much. Or he just
know,
pulls up. Him and
but-
Alfred just pull up to Home Depot every weekend.
He just has a 3D printer. I don't know.
It's
I mean, he was
I
rich.
think that'd be
They-
like
they probably were
it'd be
around
a
back
cool
then.
thing to. It'd be cool to explore that. Like I just think it'd be cool. Like if they could create something that's believable for that. That world.
yeah.
So who wouldn't? Or maybe he like had to. Maybe he was like part of the team that built. They maybe just swerve us. Say Bruce Wayne's not really a Wayne. He really built it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm gonna go. It's gonna go
Yeah,
in a
but
different
I mean-
direction if I go down that route.
Yeah, because especially in the next one, when the Riddler comes in and blows up the Batcave, like how many days later is everything fixed and ready to go?
All right.
Like,
Robots, bro.
Who-
Yeah, robots is
who
laying around.
We got
could be?
yeah. Got his Wayne Enterprise lackeys. We'll get there for sure. We got little John Favreau there not saying shit in the back.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that's true.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. He kills 2 people in this one, but this is pretty cut and dry. He burns the fire breather guy alive with his afterburners on the Batmobile.
Okay.
That's
I remember
just
that. That was
Okay.
and then he shoves the dynamite into the strong man's pants.
He does.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
they could both survive.
But
both
I
those
think
things.
those were
That's true. You could survive being burned and blown up. Yeah,
Totally.
that's true. Never mind.
yes,
They're just
yes.
dead.
He could have took the dynamite out and threw it somewhere else. Ran around town like carrying over his head and trying to throw it somewhere like in the OG Batman. But yeah, I don't think. See, I think both of those are justifiable deaths.
Sure.
I guess
Okay.
is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like
Casualties of war.
he
Yes.
didn't. The guy who got burned by the afterburners. He was just in the way. Like it was an accident. And then the bomb, it was just kind of like, look, I'm just putting it here.
That's true.
I gotta
That's
go.
true. That's
Like,
true.
I'm done messing with you. And
Do we have any thoughts on the alternate universe of, if Marlon Wayans is Robin, let's just put it out there. Like, what could that have been? And he wasn't even
That's
going to
for
be,
this one, or
that was going to be
supposed
for
to
this
be
one.
for
Like,
this
he was
movie?
supposed to be like, and he wasn't even going to be like an acrobat. He was going to be like a teenage mechanic or something who, like, he needs someone to work on the Batmobile for him. I think it's because of that scene, where he gets, like, he gets in the chase. And then I think
Yes.
something like that. That's probably how he would have gotten involved.
I don't know.
I think having Robin would have been a very bad distraction in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Batman, you had Christopher Walken.
There was a
you
lot
had
of people
Catwoman, you
already to
had
keep
the
track
family.
of. Yeah.
It's a lot.
If-
And as we
yeah,
learn in the
I
later
agree with that.
movies, too many is too much. So I
I
think
agree with that.
it was good
I'm fine
not
with
to
that,
have
Robin.
him, but I will say that watching the Robin scenes with Chris O'Donnell and knowing that information, I could see Marlon Wayans as Chris O'Donnell's character.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
I totally can picture it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Now, would people have accepted it back then? Is the question. So I don't know.
No, because I don't even think they accepted Chris O'Donnell as Robin. So I don't see Marlon
Pretty
Wayans
much.
getting there.
Yeah.
But I give this movie a solid B.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it, Tim Burton really helped reinvent, not just Batman, but also like just the characters in it. Like they weren't all traditionally what you saw in the comic books until that point. Like I don't think the Penguin was always a mutated fish guy. So I like that. And I like that he changed the costumes up. So it was cool. I enjoyed it.
I mean, this hands down is my favorite Batman movie. Like, I like the setting of the movie, that it was set in Christmas. I like, the color scheme, the whole visuals of the whole movie. It's two villains that we're familiar with, but not like, I don't want to say a main villain. Like, you got Joker, great, but then you got two villains just as good as Joker that people knew. That was great. I love the love story between Batman and Catwoman. Like, it wasn't too much to be watching. It was like kind of comical, and you kind of were rooting for them at one point. But I mean, the whole penguin aspect, him living in the lair underneath the zoo, with all his army of penguins, which I will say, when I first saw that movie, I did not know those penguins are fake. So watching it as a kid, I was like, how did they train all these penguins to do all these things? And then later in life, learned that the really big ones were like robots. And I was like, what? Like, overall to me, it's a very visually appealing movie. The story works. And, it did no wrong for me in that movie.
I think if you could go into it, I think at that time too, like there's like a lot of fighting was really big, I think, in movies and shows. And if you could go into these movies without expecting like really elaborate fight scenes, and if that's not really the focus of it, I think that makes it better for you, for the viewer. You can understand it's not just going to be straight up action the whole time. There's a lot of transitions, a lot of processing you gotta take in. Like when when Catwoman falls from the thing and she lays there for a while and the cats come to her, you kind of have to like, if you're not a patient person and you don't really understand like movies, I guess, I can see why people don't like it. Like, well, that's kind of boring or it's kind of stupid.
Right.
Or it's silly, but it's also,
yeah.
it's
I
also
mean,
too.
And I will say that scene is a little weird. Like, let's be real. Like, she gets knocked out of a window and, the cats bring her back to life. And I remember watching for the first time, I didn't know she died. I thought she just was pushed out the window and she survived because she's moving. Like, and then the cat's coming near her. I was just like, well, that's just weird. Not knowing, yeah, she died. The cats kind of brought her back to life. And that's the whole persona of why this is and why
to your
she's
point,
just
though,
weird.
it just depends on how you perceive it, too. Like, she could have just easily survived it and, like, not have been hurt. So...
I mean, she did those two or three awnings she fell through, kind of broke her fall a little bit. That shit was violent though, dude. I mean, like, how'd they film that shit? Because then you just really see her like, boom, 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 like that shit. Yeah,
dude. I mean, watching it for the first time, you're like, oh shit, like, because you don't expect it. You just think she's gonna fall and hit the ground, and then it's just a douche, douche, douche.
Yeah,
like, whoa,
that was really
what just
visceral.
happened?
That was
It was cool because like you go anywhere in San Francisco, and I was like a little kid, you see those things everywhere, like those little
on it, overhangs, awnings, yeah.
And it's always so, I think for all these movies, how easy it is for people to kill someone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no
Yeah.
effort at
Like,
all. It's like one
Christopher
shot,
Walken
one
pushes
hit.
her out the window for just like, yeah, oh,
Mhm.
okay, well, you know what's up. Okay, now you gotta die. Boom, and it's like she's out the window, and that just always amazed me how easy um, people were to just get rid of people, in this kind of comic book world,
Yeah.
you know.
No qualms,
Anytime you want.
basically.
Saying,
Okay. Any other? Should we move on to now? Now I'm really curious to see what gets said here. Like, what can we say that hasn't already been said for 20 plus years? I really like Batman Forever. I just have a very special attachment to it. I think it comes from me being such a huge Jim Carrey fan as a kid. That goes without saying. It's just so damn stupid, but I love it. It's right up there with like the '90s with the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter for me. Like I put those in the same league of movie. But yeah, it just makes me
that's not
smile.
saying much.
I know it's not, but I mean Riddler looks like fucking.
Wait, and we saw this one at the Alamo,
We
right?
did, yeah. I remember I got up on
We went,
stage and
yeah,
sang
yeah,
"Kiss
yeah.
from a Rose," and I won a
That's
little
right.
copy of the CD of the soundtrack.
And I do remember you at the time saying this was your favorite, and I was just like, dude, really?
And in terms of like, if I'm gonna sit down and just watch this shit, like it's the easiest to watch for me. Like, there are some things that are again just like how hard is Nicole Kidman for Batman the whole movie. It's really distracting. And for me as a therapist, I'm like, you are really fucking bad at your job. Like, actually, no, it's okay because Batman's not her client, so she can
Seduces
she
all her
she can
patients.
fuck Batman all she wants, like, cause that she's not treating him, but like, yeah, but still,
Sure, she's a
just
little kooky too.
yeah, maybe
She's
a little bit.
off. She might need a therapist.
I think all therapists need their own therapist. That's okay. That's allowed. Yeah.
I was I mean, this movie brings back more memories because I was a little older, and it was I feel it was the point I was gonna make about the next one, but I feel like this movie maybe took it a step further as far as like merchandising.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the toys they had, the different costumes. I know Batman's been doing that for a long time, but I really became aware of it with this
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, it was much more. I mean, that was part of the problem. Like Warner Brothers took issue with Tim Burton after Returns. They're like, how the fuck are we gonna make Happy Meal toys out of this? Like, so it's just a
Right.
lot more safer of a bet. How old do you guys think that Dick is supposed to be in this movie? Because he looks like he's at least 25.
It's interesting
No, I think he's
because
supposed
I
to be at
think
least like
teenagers just
21.
look older.
Yeah, that's true. I think teenagers just
Yeah, I
all
mean-
looked older in the 90s.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'd say
Well,
20,
I mean,
21.
let's be real. He wasn't a teenager.
I know, exactly. But we're supposed to buy that, like he offers to take him in and stuff like that, and it's the way he
Well,
says.
in there lies the whole,
Well, he is in the.
like, that's a whole different situation and story on itself. Is why is this grown ass man deciding to take in this young man who has no parents, and like, it's just weird. It's weird.
It's
And
because
always
Bruce
been
Wayne
weird.
felt guilty because he was chasing the pussy instead of being
That's
on
true.
his job, which could have.
That shit made the dude that how funny is it too? Like everyone's running, there's gunfire, and then from barely like he's like Harvey, I'm Batman. Like
So
Yeah,
That's-
I totally
and
forgot
here's-
about that. So you just said that.
Yeah.
That's such an odd scene.
that was an odd
that
choice
happens.
for sure. A very odd choice. Yes.
this Val Kilmer version to me was the dumbest of all the Batmans. Like, who is
Yeah.
really going to stand up and say, yeah, that's me. I am this masked crusader, this cape crusader that's, everyone's wanting to know. No one cares. Like, you're not going to do that. You're going to keep your secrecy. You are going to figure out the scenario and do it. Batman's supposed to be the greatest detective.
Oh, he solved
Like,
some
he just
riddles
gave
in
up.
this one, but yeah, that's true. No, he's
Barely. Those riddles really, like, talk about those
I
when
saw
we get
those
to that.
exact, yeah, I saw those exact riddles when I took the Warner Brothers studio tour like 4 years ago. I was like actually really happy. I'm like, oh, they're in really great shape. It's like they're like little pop up books and stuff. Like they really took care of these. They didn't just let them get all like, tattered.
That's hilarious.
I mean, you let the criminals in the Batcave. You let the Riddler read your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You almost
he
tell
just walked
everyone
up
you're
to the
Batman.
After
ATM machine.
after you got, yeah, well, just because Drew Barrymore honeypotted him first
Oh, okay.
But
with her
still,
little glow stick thing. That's
it's
true.
just, it was. I mean, he was caught slipping.
He
way
was
too
he
much,
was he was he got caught with his pants down like constantly, and
literally.
he let Dick just like parkoured his way into the cave.
Oh, he stole
Like
the
it
car.
was nothing.
Yeah, the other
The
car.
other car. What the fuck?
And he just
That's Batboy.
and then he met in Vogue. Did they have a
Oh,
song
yeah.
on the
Oh
soundtrack?
my
What the fuck
God,
were they doing
okay.
there?
Yeah.
Were they like?
They're on the soundtrack. I'm pretty sure.
That's a
they
good question. I think they were maybe probably with Warner Brothers at
Yeah,
the time.
probably, yeah.
That's how they got on there. I don't. If they did have a song on the soundtrack, I don't remember it. But I will say, once these movies came out, the Joel Schumacher movies, the soundtracks were getting better and better each time. So I will.
Well, before I forget,
will
I
say
think
that I did
Coolio was in
enjoy
the Batman and Robin.
No, yeah. No, we'll get to that. I found out some shit about that. Yes.
Okay, I just thought I was gonna forget to say
Yeah.
that, so I needed to say it right now.
Yeah.
But the good things about I think
that's the
Tommy
one
Lee
Bone
Jones
Thugs
knocks
is
it
on
out the
too,
fucking
right?
park.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I think Tommy Lee Jones was
He does.
perfect
You're right.
as Two-Face.
yeah.
Jim Carrey's alright. I didn't always like Jim Carrey, so I have mixed feelings when I see this one. But he's really like in his own in this performance. Like both the Riddler and Edward Nygma, I think he like really invested in the character. So it made it enjoyable.
And he was trying to like single white female Bruce. Like I remember like it took me hella years to realize at his like gala thing he's just dressed exactly like Bruce and has a fake mole and the same hair and everything like that.
That was.
Yes.
I think it's funny how he like. I don't know if you guys saw, but Val Kilmer gives him like a look like, what the? You really just copied my. It was a really cool look he gave him. I thought it was hilarious. And then
I mean, those two villains seem like it was two different movies because I don't think they worked really well together. Like, yes, they did stuff together like towards the end, but I just felt like Carrey was doing his own thing and Two-Face was just doing his own thing.
Dude, it's
and
all
they
worth
could
it
have
for
been
yeah.
two separate Batman movies.
It's all worth it for when they sit down and play fucking Battleship though. I love that scene.
yeah.
Oh my
On
god.
Alcatraz,
Yes.
titanium rocks. And, he Chris
Holy
O'Donnell throws out a little
holy rusted metal Batman. The rock, it's all metal, it's full of holes, Holy.
So stupid.
I like how how Val Kilmer just goes like, what?
Oh, what? I know, he's like, oh. He just literally says, oh, okay, sure, whatever.
I like how like you just can't move your neck if you're in the bat suit. It's just impossible unless you're
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously.
But I did like the suits in this one. I liked how he opened up with like the classic one. And
Yeah,
then he got that
yeah.
like sick ass.
The final
Civil
suit's
War
actually
fan.
still pretty cool looking, yeah. I will say.
Yeah.
I will say.
A little flashy, a little unnecessary, but it was cool.
Yeah.
I liked how Robin had his
Until
little,
they
like,
show the
beginning
nipples.
costume. It doesn't bother me.
Well, because Joel Schumacher wanted them to look like
Really?
Greek gods, so
Really?
that's why there's
It
bulges and
it's
nipples.
a distraction.
Yes.
I will say that, yeah.
It doesn't bother me as
showing
much
their
as like
ass when they suit up was a distraction, and showing me bat nipples was a distraction.
it didn't bother me as much as like
Just like,
Chris O'Donnell rocking his like circus outfit with like kind of
And
just
like
doing a yoga
a
handstand
little
while
little
pulling
tiny
up.
like cute little like Hamburglar mask or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't bug me as much as that scene.
Yeah.
Like, so
I do like their back
Well,
and forth. That
I mean,
was
there
pretty
was a lot of
fun.
things.
Yeah. Just like him
There's
just
a lot
like
of things that bug me
constantly,
with this
yeah,
movie.
just him
It's just-
constantly. Hmm.
Couldn't.
parkour his way to the back.
Yeah. Prince of
Not
Persia,
that.
whatever you want to put it. Yeah.
Jim Carrey's hair kept changing length through
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole damn movie.
Yeah. Probably like reshoots and shit. You
Like
know?
when he becomes the Riddler,
Mm-hmm.
he cuts his hair short. But when he goes to the gala, he's got the Bruce Wayne hair.
It's a wig, obvi.
And I was like,
I'd
how did
say.
your hair get that long?
Yeah, and then like when he's full out Riddler,
Obviously.
when he's full out Riddler, he looks like Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics.
Seriously.
And then there's like the scene
And
where
then
he's like in
there's the
asylum at
scene
the
where-
end, and-
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, then
that
at
was
the
all good to
end,
me.
like climax, his hair is all like it's like a red, it's like Carrot Top Ace Ventura or something like that. Like yeah, and he's got the little glitter question mark thing, dot on his cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene where he busts into Two-Face's hideout, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
walks in, he spins his cane, he does his little dance, whatever. And then 2 minutes later, he pulls out the mind machine
Oh, yeah.
from just out of nowhere.
That's true.
How did you get the mind machine in the hideout if you walked in with just your cane and twirling it all
true.
everywhere? I was like, oh, I can't do this movie no more. It's
I
just-
did like how he had hella
just
different
make
costumes
things happen.
Yeah.
for the toys. You gotta get the
Seriously.
green.
They're-
You gotta get the green with the black question marks, and you gotta get the reverse. Then you gotta get the one with the tuxedo hat or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And you're trying to tell me he had all that money to do all this because he looked like he was living in a shithole apartment. And
He stole some shit from Wayne
you know it was
Enterprises.
bad
Enough
because
from
he had
Wayne.
he had the fucking the Riddler
You gotta-
machine.
His mannequin. His little mannequin. He
His
took
little
the costume off.
his fucking little Zoltar machine, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Man, they have that over here in San
Like,
Bruno at the
it's-
gas station. I'm sure that's where you've seen it. Right?
The Zoltar machine?
Yeah, they got one here now.
I
Oh,
hella would go there and make a
oh
wish
shoot!
right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of
We got a
things that we
freeway.
could wish for right now. Jesus. Anyway,
Yeah, solid movies for me.
yeah,
Just because
yeah.
of the memories and the toys.
yeah. The
Fun story. My cousin had the Batmobile, the one without the. I think it doesn't have a. Oh, it does close. But there's one
yeah,
with
it was
Batman
this.
and
It was the
Batman
same
Forever.
like canopy style,
It was
like sliding
pretty
canopy
cool.
thing. Yeah.
It was like had blue lights and shit, but
Mhm.
I remember like for some reason I threw it at him and it hit him in the face. Like I tossed it to him. I don't think he was ready to like catch it, and it smacked him in the face.
I had the Batwing toy of this, so I remember I would like reenact because you could pop the wings off just like in the movie when he like after he crash lands and stuff. But then I would just also pretend it was the boat, so that was pretty sick. That thing was huge. That thing took up so much space.
What do you think, Alfred?
Mm.
By sea
Or
or
by
by
air.
air?
Why not both?
Yeah.
So dumb. So dumb. I mean, again, like I said, I was looking for the gadgets, and again, underimpressed by the gadgets.
It's just he just has hella grappling hooks. That's all he really uses. Like,
Yeah.
and they look different every single time, which makes no sense. Like,
And he was way too flashy. That Batmobile was way too flashy. The Batboat was way too flashy. Like, he was not trying to keep a low profile. as
nothing about this
Batman
movie
was.
is low profile.
So- no. Well, granted, yes. But I didn't like it. I thought I knew my worst Batman before this rewatch, and then this rewatch,
Okay.
this became the bottom of my list. This one right here. I just couldn't.
Should we move on
Couldn't
to
get
Batman
with it.
and Robin?
I guess let's just keep it. Well, real quick, I just want to go into the who could have been real quick for this because this was because
Okay,
obviously
yeah,
they recast motherfuckers. So let's just go from the top down. People they considered for Batman: Ethan Hawke tried to do Alec and Billy Baldwin. Dean Cain, really though, Superman. Tom Hanks, Kurt Russell, Daniel Day-Lewis, Ralph Fiennes, Johnny Depp, Mel Gibson again. So they tried to like see if maybe we can get these guys again. Let's try it again because they're still pretty big. Dr. Meridian, the Nicole Kidman character, Sandra Bullock, Robin Wright, Linda Hamilton, and the lady from Waterworld, who I thought was Linda Hamilton, but it's not. Two-Face, very interesting stuff. Al Pacino, Clint Eastwood, Martin Sheen, Nicolas Cage. I would have paid for a Nicolas Cage Two-Face. But
I mean,
yeah,
Two-Face?
that sounds
Okay.
interesting.
that would have been pretty good. The Robin is very interesting. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Face Off?
That's true. That's
Face
true.
Off already come out?
No, this is like a couple years before Face Off, so he kind of got to do it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Robin, very interesting. So I think I knew this before Christian Bale actually did audition for Robin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, and then we also had Mark Wahlberg. Hey, Bruce.
Shut your face.
Bruce, look, I know you're trying to do this alone, but I just want to help you, all right? Okay? Ewan McGregor, Jude Law, Alan Cumming, Leonardo DiCaprio, and apparently both Corys, Feldman and him, were considered.
Shut up.
I guess.
Face.
Yes.
I don't know.
I
I
mean-
like Chris O'Donnell as this Robin.
I actually don't hate it.
Like,
Yeah,
combination.
especially because it's like they kind of threw everyone together. Well, it's mostly like Dick and Jason, because I mean Dick obviously in terms of like he's the acrobat, but like he's a hothead more like Jason was and stuff like that, and you know. And he says the way he says Bruce, like just ends his sentences. It's so defiant. I love it. Like you hang out in a lot of biker bars, Bruce. And for Riddler, we had Chucky. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I'm just gonna say I think they made the right choice with Chris O'Donnell and those people. That's all.
And for Riddler, we had the voice of Chucky himself, Brad Dourif, Kelsey Grammer, the drummer from the Monkees, Steve Martin, Mark Hamill, John Malkovich, and in a surprise dark horse lobbying for the role. Wouldn't be the first time he tried to pull this shit in the 90s, because he also wanted to be Jar Jar and Peter Pan and Hook, Michael Jackson.
I was just gonna say, right? Okay.
Yeah, Michael Jackson wanted to be the Riddler.
Yeah.
That'd have been fucking weird.
I guess.
Now I
I'm
could
not sure,
say,
like,
wait. You said. No, read the list again.
For
There's
Riddler?
One name I was like, oh, you know what? That's a perfect fit.
Riddler?
Yeah.
Okay. So Michael Jackson, as I
Yes.
said, John Malkovich, Brad Dourif, the guy who plays Chucky. Oh, he was the voice of Chucky, and he was like the real dude. Kelsey Grammer, Steve Martin, Mark Hamill, and
There you go.
Mark Hamill.
I think Mark Hamill would have made an awesome Riddler. Just cause I mean he could just not that he cannot do no wrong, but I think for this movie because Carrie was so over the top, like it would have made a evenly matched.
It might have balanced it out a bit.
Villains.
Yeah.
You know, like it would have balanced everything out. So I would have loved to see Hamill as that Riddler.
I think maybe John Malkovich would have been interesting.
Yeah, that dude
But I
trips
don't
me
know.
up.
I'm not sure how how widely funny he would be. Like I think, just like for the target audience, I think Mark Hamill would have been good, but I think Jim Carrey was the right one for what they did with the movie. I don't know if I'd want to see John Malkovich do that in the movie, like try to look like Bruce Wayne or whatever the fuck they were
Right.
doing. So, yeah, I think they did the right choice.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, we all agree "Kiss from a Rose" is a beautiful song, so that we can all agree on. All right. Now on to the redheaded stepchild of this whole damn franchise. I watched the shit out of this VHS tape because it's kind of all I really had. I was 5 years old. I didn't know better.
Me too.
There's just a lot. There's so much. It just feels like it's weird. It's the same director. Granted, it's the same director, it's the same Robin, the same general aesthetic, same overall vibe, but like it just feels more disjointed. Like
To me, it kind of lets me look at it in a sense that they were just doing a updated version of like maybe the Adam West
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah,
version.
totally,
Like it's just
totally.
trying to be fucking outrageous
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little more gratuitous than they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if like back then they were going to purposefully do maybe distasteful stuff, maybe stuff that was corny, but some of it
Yeah.
was just kind of I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's a little weird.
Yeah, it's
You
way,
know, you
yeah,
don't
it's
gotta be that.
absolutely.
You don't got to be that weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Like, I think Clooney gives off a lot of Adam West-esque vibes, like just the very much more square-jawed, like more kind of debonair, just like it just seems like he's having a really good time being Batman. I think that's the thing. He seems to be like out of everybody, he seems to have the most just fun or whatever. Like, this is just what I do. It's all good. I'm gonna go to like charity auctions where it kind of seems like it looks like it's a beauty pageant, but also that all of these rich people are bidding on these women to have sex with them. I can't really quite tell. But
Oh my god.
They wear like gorilla suits.
yeah,
blue
yes,
and
yeah.
pink and blue gorilla suits. It's pretty outrageous.
I mean, the
I
first
don't mind George Clooney as
part of
Batman.
this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Well, you know what? No, he's better than Kilmer. I take that back.
I will say that.
I
re-
do believe
mhm.
he is way better.
I mean, they don't go into it. I mean, for what the movie is, I think it's nice that they tried to have a little bit more of like we need to have some dramatic element here. So the whole like Alfred being like terminally ill thing, I actually do like upon revisiting it, I really like the scenes where it's just him and Bruce, and he's like, dude, like, do I have my head up my ass? Like, am I going about this the wrong way? And yeah, just you see that's where you see much more of like the surrogate father aspect and stuff before we really get to like the Michael Caine of it all. But I was like, oh, those were actually pretty well acted scenes, and then it's just punctuated by more
yeah.
ridiculousness.
I think he might be a better Bruce Wayne than
Mhm.
I don't mind him as Bruce Wayne, but
Yeah.
maybe, I mean Batman. That doesn't. I think anyone could be Batman now.
Yeah,
So.
that is certainly damn true.
At this point in the game, you're right.
Bottom of the barrel, a little bit of
I just
shade.
remember rewatching this movie and not realizing the begin. I've never really seen the beginning of this movie. Like, it was like watching it brand new all over again. Like, I remember the penguin. I remember the Mr. Freeze scene. You know, the ice skating goons and, you know, Batman and Robin getting frozen, whatever, yada yada. But I don't remember the Ivy origin story part of that movie ever. Like, I just thought she just kind of appeared as Ivy the whole time through the movie and just kind of was there. Like, I didn't know she had an origin and, you know, that's how Bane got there. And I was just like,
Yeah, it's
so surprised, but then
a slog.
made the movie make more sense to me. Yeah.
I remember that scene being a lot longer than it really was because I fucking hated that like this whole sequence. I don't know. It always for some reason it always bugged me that they were like subleasing the same place and
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't she didn't know what was going on down there. Or like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
flimsy.
It would just-
It's a very flimsy like way to try to connect it and stuff.
There's like an audience watching
Mm-hmm.
Bane happen or something. Like, I
Although
just
they were like terrorist world leaders. It was, what did he call it? Like the ununited nations. Like, I thought there was like a Nazi or a Klansman in there or something, man. Like,
like what was she
Could've
doing?
been.
What was she doing with her plants? Like
she was just trying to like she was
just
just trying to combine like animal and plant DNA. She was a botanist and all that. Yeah. So that was always her jam, was to like
Yeah.
make plants be able to fight back and defend themselves. Like, yeah.
And see how easy for him to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Just pushed her
without
over.
an even second thought, just dush, and then, you know,
I'm gonna kill you with a
she was
shelf.
done. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So that to me was
what about
just
Miss?
I couldn't.
I liked I like the way they looked. I like the way they made like the characters look in the movie though. I'm kind of big on like the visuals. I don't know, because I don't it doesn't attract me to watch movies nowadays, but um, I for some reason the villain, like the way make the villains look, I don't know, it makes me kind of accept the movie a little more. I don't know. Does anyone else get that kind of what do you guys think about the looks of
No,
the
you're
presentation of
right
the movie?
because
Like,
I'm very big on the villains. Like, I don't go for the superhero. I go for the villain when I go watch a movie. So if that villain doesn't look like how I think he should be or like how I know him to be, then I'm kind of not invested anymore. Like almost like with X-Men and Magneto,
Sure.
the first Magneto. You know, here I was like, oh, they're gonna have Magneto, great, and then it's this old ass man, and I'm like, dude,
yeah, yeah.
where's the Magneto we
And it
know
helps
that's
when
like, you know, ready to take stuff over
yeah,
and can
and
fight?
these movies are I think are targeted for kids. So like I was
Oh,
a kid when
totally.
X Men came out, and I couldn't tell who Magneto was. There was times where I'd watch a movie and I don't know which character's which because they just got that same ass X uniform on, and I don't know what like who's who.
Mm-hmm.
So that's big, and I think at least in this movie, I knew who like was doing what. Um, I like the Mr. Freeze outfit.
Right.
I like the action figures that came with it. You know. Um, oh, hang on, I gotta take a call real quick.
Nah, that's all good. So we'll just keep going here.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna step into the- I'm gonna
It
step
was
into the-
just
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
too much. Like, all right, I feel like this movie, you knew it was over. Like, all the signs were there that this was going to be the last one.
yeah.
You know, you had too many villains, you had too many heroes, you had Alfred dying,
That's true.
even though you were setting this up for a family now. And
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
we
yeah,
have
the
all these
bat.
people.
Yes.
No, it was the sign of the times for this to be over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they jammed as much as they could in this movie, and I think even that can save it, but it was still better than the last one, than Forever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's just so much. Like, yeah, just the way they're trying to like wink and a nod. Like, you know, just the thing that hella bothers me is like, you know, in terms of like in the comics, you know, Barbara is, you know, it's weird that they made Batgirl Alfred's niece or whatever, and then like in the comics she's like a master hacker and computer genius, and here like the most she does is she guesses her old ass uncle's password, and that's the extent of like
Yeah.
that's how she proves her mettle, I guess. And then that motorcycle race is super weird too. And then apparently Coolio, was supposed to be. They said Coolio was supposed to be Scarecrow if they made another one. Like that's Jonathan Crane. Like for real. Like he's just running underground motorcycle races, but it's really
Well, I mean, we're gonna talk about it in the next one.
That's true.
But I mean, that's not too far fetched.
Okay, good point. Good point. Good point. Good point.
You know, I mean, at this point, well, we know that wouldn't have been that much of a throwaway.
Yeah, there's little bits that are like, okay, I see where they're going. Like, I still really like the fact that during the whatever where they're chasing Mr. Freeze, and Batman doesn't think that Robin, you know, he remotely shuts down Robin's bike so he can't make the jump. That's a super Batman thing to do. Like that's super. I'm like, yeah, like he's just gonna go over your head and strong arm you into this because he always thinks he knows better, and usually does, but it's all in the approach. So
Right.
yeah, and there's a lot of plant puns and a lot of ice puns, and we all knew that already. But go ahead.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. No, I was just gonna say, you know what did it for me was, this is all for nothing, and it's just an opinion, but like they should have shown more of Arkham. Like I think at some point in the movie, it's kind of like Batman defeats these guys and they disappear. Well, yeah, we know they go to Arkham, but what are they doing in Arkham? Like maybe just a nod of seeing cells, and maybe not necessarily the character, but knowing that character still exists. in that world, because we never really get to see what happened to Two-Face.
That's
Like,
true. They said
did he die?
they have
Did he
his
not
suit hanging
die?
in like the evidence room or whatever it was. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Like
My
the
bad.
only person we really see is not Joker, Riddler, that
Riddler's
he
suit.
goes
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
But where is everyone else? Like, is Catwoman not caught? Is she still roaming Gotham City? Like,
Are you guys
I'm not
talking
saying
about
you
like when they
need
see
to
the
focus on
costumes
them,
at
but a
Arkham?
nice little nod to
Saville's
them.
talking about how he would have liked to see a little bit more world building at Arkham, like references to like other villains. At least yeah, like seeing like nameplates on doors or like on cells or something like that.
We see like some of the. I mean, aside from the costumes that they show,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I agree. Um, they didn't do anything at Arkham except be in one cell.
Yeah, with
It was really easy to
Jesse
escape.
Ventura as one of the security guards too.
Oh God, I
Totally
love
forgot
that.
about
It
that.
was a little
Love
Predator reunion, man.
that
Shit.
scene.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
that was interesting.
But I mean, not even
How
just
they
that. Just being a big wrestler fan, you just want to see Jesse Ventura on a screen somewhere.
and he was like, I think he was governor shortly after that too, right? In the 90s, 99 maybe.
He was, yes.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, the way they escape Arkham, like they fucking just take a swan dive out of the fucking
That's true.
building.
That fall that
Yeah.
was a hella big jump, dude.
You would
That would have
fucking
killed your
die.
ass. Yeah.
At least break your ankles.
Yeah.
Like
I hope Mr. Bane can swim.
we all can't have we all don't have armor.
That's true.
What happens to the things that fly? Shit flies and it doesn't fly.
Oh, he's got those dumb little like they look like dragonfly wings or something. Yeah.
And can you just freeze them all down too? Why can't they just use like the front door?
Oh, that's true. I mean, he was still low. He was low. He didn't have his gun. They didn't take or I don't know where.
Oh,
his,
he needed the diamonds.
Yeah, that's true.
He needed the diamonds.
Yes.
Fucking
Yeah,
diamonds.
that's right. She couldn't bring him no diamonds. She didn't know that.
Oh, she was too busy.
I mean, they all know everything else.
Well,
Oh,
like, his
actually, no.
homies
I
have
think
to
she
just, like,
didn't
sit
know about the
there
diamonds until later.
Mm-hmm.
What do his homies do? Like they're all humans, so they just sit in like a walk-in freezer with them, and
They
like, what
were.
do they
He
eat?
had them. He had them just chilling, watching like Christmas specials until he got back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They can't think for themselves. They just
That's true.
will wait for the boss to come back.
Sure thing, boss. Yeah.
Like it happens all the time,
Yeah.
though. Like you notice that? It's like, oh, he got arrested. Okay, we'll just sit here and wait because he always comes back. But no, this is the first time, dude. Like, It's so good.
I think another like gripe from me about like the set of movies, not just this one, was their choice of Jim Gordon. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care for Jim Gordon at all.
Fucking
He's kind of like an
useless. Yeah.
ag.
He was like, no, he's literally
but
he's.
in the old TV show,
Yeah.
he's useless.
That's
like in
true.
the TV show, he there's no
like
point
him
for
in the
him
TV
to
show
be
either.
there other than
He's
to
the
call
guy
back to
from
the-
he's the guy in Austin Powers. He's Basil. Hello, Austin. He just sets up the bet. He's just this is what you're doing today. Okay, go have fun.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't need to watch this movie again for a very long time. That's for damn sure. Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Once they put the Robin signal in the
you
sky,
got
it's
it
like
right.
okay. I do like the scene though where they're like in the car and he has a convertible car now. He doesn't sit inside of it
It's not
anymore.
even a convertible. There's just nothing. It's just an
I do like
open
the
air
color, though, like,
thing.
the orange. Yeah, it was a cool,
That was
it a cool
okay,
Batmobile,
yeah.
But when they drive down the muscle. Of the
Oh yeah,
statue,
yeah,
the
yeah.
arms,
Yeah, we were
like,
just
that
talking
shit-
about that.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah,
I missed
absolutely.
out. Fuck it.
That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, we can. I think we trod over some not obvious territory. So I think it would be cool like if we just talk so these were all like yes kind of loosely connected and stuff. I think it'd be cool if we talk about as we go into the dark. Talk about it as a context. Like it is one cohesive trilogy. So maybe we can just talk about them as such rather than going movie by movie.
Yeah.
For the
I like that.
yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. So yeah, where are we at with the Christopher Nolan trilogy?
I mean, obviously they're obviously just better
Movies? Yeah,
They're-
like
the quality of it is better.
Uh-huh.
but some of the writing, I would strongly like maybe say it's overrated.
Yeah, honestly, yeah,
Some
I
of
noticed that
it is
too. It's
really
like,
good.
yeah, it's a little ham-fisted, to be honest. Yeah.
It's a good like gateway, just like for if you really want movies, I guess with really like elaborate plots and writing, it's a good gateway to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't put it up there as like all time amazing, you know, cinematic
Yeah.
masterpiece. Like how some people might consider them.
People stand The Dark Knight like crazy. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't get it, but
Uh-huh.
I do get it at the same
Yeah,
time.
I understand it, but I don't necessarily, I'm not drinking from that Kool-Aid necessarily. Like, and I found that more this time. I'm like, these movies are, but I feel this way with like all Christopher Nolan. Like his movies are hella good, but you really need to like just mentally and physically prepare yourself for what you're about to watch. Like, I gotta really be just like invested in this. There's just so many moving parts
Yeah.
and like so many big ideas. It's not what I would call a fun watch, but they're good. That's for
Hmm.
damn. That's sure.
No,
Like, yeah.
no.
I completely
I
ruined
wouldn't
The
even
Dark
say
Knight
okay.
for
See,
myself, so um,
Hmm.
just I knew it so well. I was able to download a bootleg and off of LimeWire like the night that it came out.
Oh
Like I
shoot.
went to the movies to see it, and then I was able to download it the same night. So my friend, like me and my friend, knew all the quotes, so we would
Hmm.
just every time we went to the movies to watch it, we would say the quotes to each other before they'd say it.
Oh
And I think
Jesus.
we were making people mad, and but we were just sitting there cracking up. So that movie to me just has good memories. But as far as like appreciating it, I'm not really. I'd have to be like re-enlightened on why it's such a powerful performance piece. But that's it.
I mean, to me, it just. I ended up watching it after the hype, like so. I
Mm,
wasn't
okay.
into it, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good. You got to go check it out. You got to check it out." And I was just like, "All right," but already I could tell it wasn't. I mean, I was, I was of the school of, well, why do we need a new Batman movie?
Mm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just
Yeah.
had four. You know, not great Batmans, but why do you need to reboot it? Like, just continue what we
It was
know. Like,
less than 10 years
so I
before the
wasn't
next one was
invested,
made.
and
So
I,
yeah.
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah, less than 10 years went
like it
by.
was still fresh. So
Uh
it was
huh.
kind of like, what's the point?
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
But I
You know.
did,
Yeah.
and I watched them out of order. So I had
Oh,
saw
okay. Okay.
Dark Knight before Batman Begins.
Uh huh.
So I was totally not going into this with confusion of, well, where's Katie Holmes? I mean, in my head, I was saying that. I was like, well, where's Katie Holmes? I thought she was in this movie, not knowing she had been switched out
I
for
think that's okay.
the Gyllenhaal girl. I can't remember her name right now.
Maggie.
Um,
Yes.
I think it's okay. You saw the
but I
second
mean, I
one
didn't
first.
go
Yeah.
in with knowing that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
because I
Yeah.
didn't have to
But I
deal
feel
with,
like if you saw the
now that
Temple
I've
of Doom
seen it,
before
all
Raid of
that
Raiders, it wouldn't
Yeah.
have mattered.
unnecessary information. Yeah. Like, I really felt like that first one was full of information I didn't need.
Yeah, it was just a lot of
And,
like
like, I
expositional.
didn't need the whole Batman backstory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you think about it,
But I do really like Liam Neeson's
what's the
role
Batman to
in that.
villain screen time
And
in that
his role
movie?
in Batman is like development.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It-
probably just the end.
Yeah, it's basically like 10
And maybe
minutes
with
of the movie.
with Scarecrow.
And
I
like at the
guess.
end of the movie.
Mhm.
So right. Which to me was an odd choice, but also a good choice because you don't no one really knew that character too well. Like
Yeah.
from a Batman movie standpoint. We
Yeah.
all knew the Joker, we all knew the Penguin, we all knew Catwoman, and the Riddler, but
But yeah.
no
one talks
one
about Ra's al
really,
Ghul
not too many
and,
people knew
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And
I
they just throw
think
the
again
swerve
for
with
me
Liam Neeson.
that yes, yes, and for me like like I told you I'm invested in the villains. So if there's not a villain I know or care about, then I really don't want to watch it. So when I did find out it was the Scarecrow, I was kind of like, That's a lackluster villain for him for the first reboot to do. Okay, whatever. Um, so when the second one came out and it was Joker, I was like, okay, I know Joker. I'll watch this. And all the
Yeah,
hype that
and
went
it had nothing to
around
do
with the
with the
movie,
first one,
you know,
really. Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
no, it just. I think I watched it because of the whole fact that Heath had died, and they were like, "Oh, it's his last movie," and then you kind of got to watch. He did a great performance, so you're kind of like, "Okay, I want to see if what everyone is saying is correct." You know, so I think that's why I
Yeah, he
watched
knocked
it,
it out the park. Um,
and
hmm I
he
think
did.
just to
He
that
did. I'll
point,
give him that.
yeah. Um, but I think
But
it's
I
okay
mean,
you saw that one first, like
That
just
movie didn't
chronologically
need Two
too.
Face either.
See, I, I
Yeah.
I wasn't even ready for
Yeah.
Two Face. Um, I only knew about it because I knew he was gonna be in the
No.
movie. I remember reading stuff about it, and I was like, oh, he's gonna have Two Face as well. I'm not too fond of like the actor they chose. I think he was like cool, but until when he became Two Face, it was a little much for me. I didn't take him seriously. Um, but yeah, with Batman Begins, uh, I have mixed feelings. I just like Batman, so that's why I think I enjoyed it. But um, I don't really rewatch it too much, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I only watched it during this rewatch, and that's the only times that I've
Mm.
sat down and watched those movies. Like, I
I
think
think Katie Holmes got like a
Batman
worst
Begins.
actress award for it.
I mean, I could see that because rewatching it, I was just like, dude, what is she doing?
Mm.
Like, I can see. I mean, I don't know the reason why why she's not in the second one, um, but it was a good step up, to have Maggie Gyllenhaal take over for her, even though they were just going to kill her. But I
I thought
think
she was just as
Katie
underwhelming. I didn't really
Holmes
care.
is.
I didn't care for that like Rachel Dawes character at all. I thought it was just like a waste of screen time for like the support.
Yes, because they still made him a playboy anyway.
We kind of had
You
to
know,
though. Like that was
you,
just a bit, to throw people off the scent.
Yeah.
And like I get what they were going for with her. Like, oh, this is his moral center or whatever. Like this is his basically his one link to like the normal world or whatever, or his
normal. Yeah.
whatever that is. But yeah, like it was just like again, she just kind of was there. Like ultimately,
Yeah,
like
there's no point to
yeah.
no point having her there.
Yeah.
I'm glad they killed her. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly sad.
Um, also in Seville, how
No.
I couldn't take Two Face seriously at all.
Oh really?
And, like he was cool as Harvey Dent, but I think once he made the turn, to me it was just a comedic performance.
It was.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember specifically me and my friend really laughing at the part where when it's him and Gordon are having a stare down,
Uh huh.
and then
Oh, in the
cops
hospital.
comes, and he goes, "No, it's when they're." I
Oh,
think
at the
they're, like,
end, at the very end.
He's pointing the gun at
Yeah,
him. And
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"You brought your cops, Gordon." And
He's like, "Come on,
that's the way he
man."
says it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was the funniest thing, and I there's this moment like when when he's shaking in the bed.
Uh huh.
Like,
When he's like restrained.
can't.
Yeah.
yeah, it's the funniest thing to me. I just don't take him seriously. Not his fault. Well, it kind of is, but he didn't. They made him do that stuff. So I could
No,
have done
he
without
brought to the
Two-Face.
table. He brought that to the table.
Yeah, I could have done without Two Face for the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But I think they
I
do
think
have the
that
Indiana
was
Jones
the
thing
overboard
effect,
part for me.
Mm-hmm.
where you could watch the second one and not have to. Have seen
Yeah.
the first
Honestly,
one.
it is pretty damn standalone. Like you get the gist. Like yeah, it's not as necessarily
Yeah,
like direct fallout from the last one or whatever. It's more the second and
I
third
would-
are more of like a thing, like linked.
Yeah, and I would assume that just because Heath Ledger died, that's why they might have went that direction. Maybe they had to go back to like build off something rather than just do something completely new.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did well. I think the third one is my favorite of the three.
Honestly, dude, yeah, shoot, that's a really refreshing take. Like, I feel like no one says that, and I really, really like the third one. It's because, yeah, it is like, it's kind of nice to see Christopher Nolan just going. I think this is like Christopher Nolan post Inception, where like he's just going for broke, and at this point, it's just like a big, dumb, ridiculous plot, like Doomsday, the city's gonna be blown up plot, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, it's
Well, he's like doing what all the villains before like really wanted to do.
yeah,
And just like maybe he's actually showing a practical way to
mm-hmm,
do it now, and I thought that was cool.
yeah,
Like the opening scene for Dark Knight Rises is probably my favorite opening.
yeah,
The three of them.
the whole plane
The bank
bit,
scene was pretty cool. The
yeah,
bank one is good, but the
mm-hmm,
plane to me was when he leaves his homeboy in the in the plane because they need to find the body of a terrorist.
yeah,
Like that's just like, come on, man. You know. So
yeah,
Bane having redemption with that, like
yeah,
being a redeemable character, I thought that
mm-hmm,
was cool. The but all these movies have some kind of swerve in it.
mm-hmm,
You know? The Liam Neeson swerve.
mm-hmm.
What would be the one in The Dark Knight?
Oh, like the twist and stuff. Shoot.
What, Two-Face? I mean, I don't know if it. Oh, when he doesn't save.
The switch, yeah, that's the
Rachel,
switch where like
I guess.
he tricks them with the addresses. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'd say that, or like
was
Alfred like not giving him Rachel's like Dear John letter anymore.
oh yeah,
That was pretty
yeah.
sad.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about. He burns it, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then the third one, I think there's a few of them. There's the Talia al Ghul swerve.
Oh yeah,
There's
totally.
And then there's the one at the end where he's at the
Oh,
restaurant in what, France or Paris.
It was Italy. Yeah. It was Italy. Yeah. Venice or
To be
something.
honest, I didn't expect that coming. I know it was like right in front of us, but I didn't really. Expect
That was a dude. That was freaking. That was Alfred's Goodwill Hunting. You know, because Ben Affleck has that. Who's like, one of these days, I just hope I drive up to your house to pick you up, and I hope you're not there. And like, it's because I know that I want something better for you. It's the exact same speech, and it ends the exact same way.
And it's like, he's not dead. Batman doesn't die, and it's like you know he didn't die in that thing. Like even when it explodes, you're like, oh, he's not dead.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect him to pull out the restaurant.
Right.
The restaurant.
Have we talked about Joseph Gordon-Levitt yet?
No.
Okay.
We have not.
I'd prefer-
Okay. You prefer not to?
I mean, there's
Listen,
another swerve
I
that was like
think-
that just wasn't. It didn't need to happen. They didn't need to call him. They didn't need to say that.
Like, we know what he is. Like, he even kind of comes off like Terry, you know? Like, that's who I felt he was most like, if anything. Like, at a certain point. Like, a little bit Dick, a little bit of Terry. But,
Maybe Tim
But
Drake.
see, I
they're
feel
yeah, like Tim and Terry, more so, yeah.
like you did need that to be said for I think a couple of reasons.
I mean, I
But
loved it, but don't get me
Like-
wrong, yeah.
You say it for the setup to not do another Batman movie, but maybe a Robin movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now you can do another trilogy of the things or another standalone, because not everyone is going to understand that
Mm-hmm.
he's the Robin.
Yeah,
So
but then you have to
you-
change it. Well, he had
and
to
then
be
it just
Nightwing
kinda-
as Robin. I mean, you can't just have your first
Well,
name
you
be
know,
your
yeah.
superhero name now. It's like I guess But no, they could have easily done it to like if it's fan service, they could have just easily been like, oh, you should use your first name, Richard, or
Oh, that's
I
true,
don't know,
yeah.
you should use your first name. Your first name Grayson is really
Or
cool.
Dick,
like,
yeah.
Oh, that's nice, okay.
Dick. It would have been
Yeah,
cool to like
yeah.
maybe be a little
Yes.
more less fucking transparent.
On the nose. Yeah.
Right. It
but
was
no,
it was very
I
on the
dig
nose.
it.
I will
Mhm.
give you that.
No, the attempt is there. That's all.
Yeah,
That was all
absolutely.
it
I mean,
was.
I ate that shit up, but I think this was the last movie I saw where midnight shows were still actually midnight shows. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
do like 8 p.m. things yet. So there was just a lot of hype, and I was pretty tired, but I was just feeling it was a long movie, but
It was
Yeah.
You
cool.
went to
I
a
mean,
midnight
I,
screening of this show?
yeah, this is when I lived right by Tanforan, so it wasn't like a huge
the Dark Knight
investment.
Rises?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I saw it like maybe a week or
I was
two
just
after
gonna say I
it
don't
came
think it's
out,
that
and
hyped.
I was just happened to be downtown one day and like
Mhm.
I was like I'm gonna go watch this in IMAX right now because I was there and I was very happy.
Hmm.
But yeah, also saw The Dark Knight as at the midnight showing. That was a chore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I bet.
That was terrible. It was like a Thursday, I think. Um, I didn't bother seeing Batman Begins in theaters. But I do like the connection between the first and third one.
Yeah, that's true. It is
Story
kind.
had me invested.
Yeah.
I called the Talia al Ghul thing like when she first appeared on screen. I
Oh,
was like,
totally.
who's this lady with this accent that like no one else has?
Uh.
And like she cares about Gotham. Like why? That was just kind of I thought that was really cool.
Well, see, that went over my head because I didn't watch the first one. So I didn't get the connection because I didn't even know about the character from, the beginning.
Right.
So to me, it was just kind of, whoa, okay.
Because the other Batman movies didn't do that. They didn't really take plots from
Yeah,
the
there weren't
first
really
one.
like there weren't really like
cohesive
connecting
that.
threads. Yeah, that's for sure.
Right. I mean, I think for it being a trilogy, it did its job. And it's the same thing
Yeah.
I kind of say about Star Wars when people get upset at the prequels.
Yeah.
I remind them. I said, it's part of a story.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so the beginning of a story is never exciting. The beginning of a story is just
Setting
a whole
it
lot
up.
of information.
Yeah.
Until you get to the second act and the third act. So I feel like, with these Nolan Batman movies, they did exactly that. They gave you all that boring information in the first one,
Yeah.
then gave you the action and the plot in the second one, and then just summed it all up in the third one. And it's great. And Andrew's right. You did need to watch all three to get that. You could watch
It
one of
helps,
those and just be happy.
Yeah, that's true.
with just
You
the
definitely
story.
like
You just
do
get the
feel
full
left behind,
experience.
though, if you
Yeah.
don't get all of it though. Like there's parts where I feel like if I didn't like with the daughter, if I didn't know that he was in the first one, I would have been like, what? Like where'd she come from? I don't even remember the dad being in this movie, and then you have to go back to the first movie to figure that out. And
But you still understand the
yeah,
movie.
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I did not see the first one, but I understood it when she started to explain herself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. I knew the character. I knew who Liam Neeson was in the movie. I just didn't see it.
Right.
So it made sense. I got it.
Yeah. That's dope.
But I mean, another thing I didn't understand was why the Scarecrow was in every
I
single one of those.
I think
And-
Christopher Nolan just really liked working with him the one time, and it was just like, oh, just have this asshole just was always doing something. Like,
I like his
But I
character.
feel
I like
like-
his character.
But I feel like that made him a lackluster villain.
that's
Like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it turned him into
you
because
made him the main villain in the first one.
Yeah.
And then you bring him back for smaller
and then he
parts.
became just like a run, and then it was just became like a running gag almost or something
Right.
like that. Yeah, like
Right.
a recurring joke kind of thing.
Yes.
It just like shows what happens when you get high off your own supply.
That's true.
Just-
Yeah, he just wasn't. He didn't
He's
quite.
the-
He lost his edge because he definitely.
red herring in
Yeah, he
the
definitely
Batman
seemed less
series.
less on it, less badass after he got whammied by his own
Batman
stuff.
gave him he reverses on him, gave him a big ass dose.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, I like the idea of the first one with like the polluting the water and
Like
that
vaporizing it. Yeah.
hallucinogenic
Yeah.
effect, and then Ra's al Ghul with his whole League of Shadows stuff.
Mhm.
I always thought that was cool. But it's also not as memorable.
Yeah, it's you can tell it's just a much more. It feels like a dry run. Like all
I
of
don't
it.
have to save you.
I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole bit.
I do like their fight on the cliff where he uses like the Batman arm.
Oh,
things that, it kind of shows you where he gets it from.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Like,
totally. I love that montage. Like I love the montages in the first movie. Like I ate that stuff up. But yeah.
Yeah, he like carries him all the way down to the fucking village.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty outrageous, but it's it gave like another sense to Batman, and I feel like it that series, especially Batman Begins, kind of set the tone for how the way they did Iron Man, the first one.
Yeah,
I
just
think-
like humanizing him more and
I
stuff.
don't,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think Iron Man would have been like that if it wasn't for Batman Begins, at least.
You're probably
as far
right.
as
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
like,
it's got the whole setup and the rudimentary thing and like him kind of messing stuff up and getting all of
Yeah.
his shit together, like literally and emotionally and stuff. And yeah, that's true. There is a lot of similarities.
and Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, I think are like really the
They're
Yeah,
they're the
almost
secret
MVPs,
sauce. Yeah, they're
almost
totally the
MVPs
secret
of
sauce of
this
those movies.
this series.
Yeah.
I love both of them. Just the suspicious activity that Lucius Fox picks up. He doesn't give a fuck because he's getting paid.
That's true.
Right.
He made all the stuff that's not getting used, so he's like, hey Bruce, I
At
got
least at least it's getting some use. Like it's not just sitting here.
And how Bruce, he always like kind of shows he has the morality in check when he does little things like when he sees that there's like a self-destruct message on like that thing that Morgan.
Oh yeah, like
he
the
didn't
cell
want
phone
that.
thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he sees that, he's like gets a little like twinkle in his eye. And he's
I know. He's like,
Nice.
oh, you did think about me.
now I gotta get the fuck out of this deep ass chamber wherever I'm at.
Right before this
Somewhere
before this
in Gotham
computer
Docks.
blows up,
Yeah.
and yeah. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Michael Caine, I think, is the best Alfred.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would watch like if he was younger, I would watch like a Alfred series with Michael Caine.
You just got that like that sass, but also concern and like, dude, like I don't want to see you keep doing this, but I'm gonna keep razzing you and putting you in your
Well,
place. Like,
And like when they depict Alfred in the comics and how he has like a past of doing like all these badass things before he was like a butler, and knowing Michael Caine was like a secret agent.
oh, that's true. Yeah, he
guy,
like
that's just
Italian
kinda
job
like
and all that stuff. It's just built in, kind of implicitly.
yeah, and it makes me think of this shit really reminds me of Indiana Jones now, like that series.
Oh yeah. Like
So-
you get James Bond to be Indiana Jones's dad because they wanted to make a James Bond movie in the first place, but they couldn't. So it's, yeah.
I mean, you know, there's like internet theories that James Bond is Indiana Jones' father, but just the timeline wouldn't match up because I think Indiana Jones takes place before
Yeah,
007. So-
sure, fair enough.
But it's a cool little thing to think about. You could make that a comic book one day, or you could make that an actual idea. We could do that. But
Well, you'd have to do a comic book as Harrison Ford and
That's
not
true.
playing,
Shia LaBeouf.
James's.
I personally don't really want to include Affleck in this because it's its own thing, but
it's too long.
it's too long.
I don't
Let's
even remember it.
fuck it. Yeah, like the standalone stuff. So we can probably start wrapping this up if we want.
Sure.
Why don't we go? Let's build up to the rankings of the movies themselves.
Yeah.
We can just kind of go point by point. We don't have to harp on it too much because we already talked about it for a while. You guys want to talk about villains first, or suits, or cars?
Any of them.
Okay.
They're all
What's-
about the same.
Coolest. I mean, yeah. There's not too many differences with the suits.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
My favorite depiction of the villains, though, it might be Two-Face in Batman Forever. That might
Very
be
fresh
my,
take. I like it. Yeah.
Just because I remember the action figure, and to me, it was just like, yeah, I like that toy.
Yeah.
So the appearance was cool.
I think mine is definitely still Nicholson's Joker, next to Mark Hamill's, because I'm still counting Mask of the Phantasm because that shit came out in theaters. But yeah, again, just because of it's just so like it's just like delicious. It's just like, oh God, what's he gonna do next? What's he gonna say next? And you're scared, but you're also entertained at the same time. So I think that's what really that's what does it for me.
Nicholson's Joker was
Yeah.
very strong.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I do think Nicholson's was the best villain. Just because, he didn't really encompass the Joker, like, as we've grown to love and know. But I think he was the funniest.
That's
with
true.
his
It was
lines.
pretty damn
And,
funny. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
he
it was witty.
even when he was not in the makeup, he was still like the Joker.
Yeah, that's
And,
true.
the things
For
he
sure.
said were, right on point, and was making you laugh the whole time, and it didn't make you hate him.
Yeah. He was like, he had a
It made
point.
you like him.
Yeah, like he's like, decent people shouldn't live here. You're better
I don't
off
think it-
somewhere else.
I don't think any of the villains, like character-wise, I don't think I hated any of them. I
Yeah.
actually really like
Yeah.
Saville said,
That's
I go to see the villains too.
That's
'cause
true.
You already know what the hero looks like.
yeah,
You
and
know
like
how
they're all
gonna do
kind
the
of
villains.
sort of samey at the end of the day, like so you really
I think maybe the
that's
one
true.
I don't like is Bane and Batman and Robin.
Oh, I'll give it
Like,
yeah.
I
Mhm.
do like how he looks. I do like the idea of like, cause that's Bane. It was like the Venom. And
Yeah,
shit. Like,
the luchador mask.
That was cool, but I think they did Bane a lot more justice in Dark Knight. Right?
Sure.
So, and then the Batmobiles. Fuck, I like the. Do I really like the Batman and Robin one? But
Again, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that before, but I totally respect your preference.
well, how many people have you asked?
I mean, I don't know. I think just the general consensus, but it's all good. Shit, I'll
Yeah.
take another look
I
at
think
it.
I just think people forget because they have the idea of the movie, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
really they didn't really take it in.
It is
as,
more
like,
fun to look at than
Yeah,
the Kilmer Batmobile, because it just yeah.
I just don't think people always take in like all the stuff that came along with. Even if it was a bad movie, there were a lot of cool things.
Yeah,
that came
absolutely.
out of
There's
it,
things,
so-
there's cool things to take out of each. Yeah,
right, like
that's
the
for sure.
soundtrack or the toys, especially if you're
Mhm.
like that was how old I was. I was looking
Mhm.
at specifically the toys,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as like every Batman movie had a all black Batman, you could never find a Batman that was just all black.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
always some kind of weird rendition of it, but they're all cool. But you
Mhm.
can never find like an original Batman because that's how popular that fucking shit was. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then what was the other one? Bat suits.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the gray and black. Or I like
Mhm.
the original Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
one's with the yellow.
Yeah,
logo.
for sure.
'Cause I don't like the mask very much for Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little-
little too like, it's really small. I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah, it doesn't seem as imposing. Yeah.
Some people were saying like the Ben Affleck one where they're trying to do it like very Frank Miller style, but to me that shit's so subtle. Like I don't think so. Like even the Frank Miller like Batman, Dark Knight Returns, like costume. I don't look at that as to be like like a really cool Batman look. I just think
It's
iconic,
just
but
it's just iconic. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But it doesn't translate that great to live action. I would say.
It's just it was like a helmet.
It's just
Like,
a helmet, but
it's
it's just the
kinda-
really big, fat, chunky bat. That was
Mhm.
the thing that made it stick out, and like the really teeny tiny ears. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Then
And then, if you want, do you have an order for the movies for you?
I guess maybe like all six or like do.
What we've
I'll start
covered.
with the-
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do I'll say fuck. My least favorite for sure would be
Mhm.
Batman and Robin.
Sure. Mhm.
But it's the one I remember the most. So
Okay.
It's hard to, like,
That's cool.
Because I do have like biases towards it, but just subjectively, if you're gonna tell me ask me to watch one, that would be the last one.
Mhm.
Then maybe Batman Returns is like the next one down.
Mm.
Batman Forever, and then the original one is probably
Mhm.
like for that set. It's
Okay.
probably my set
Yeah,
of
yeah,
favorites.
yeah.
But Batman Forever and Returns could switch any
On
day.
on the day, given the day.
Um,
Yeah, for sure.
I just prefer not to watch Batman than Batman Returns back to back.
Uh-huh.
I prefer to watch them like separately.
Mhm.
And then with the trilogy, it would be It might be in the Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, and
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. So
Okay.
Dark Knight would be like my least favorite. So
Okay.
least favorite to favorite would be Dark Knight, Batman
Yeah.
Begins, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just because I think Dark Knight is too long and.
It does. It's got a lot of pacing issues. That's
and,
for
like,
sure.
I think
Yeah.
Saville said before, it's not really a Batman movie. It's like a crime movie with.
It's
Batman in it.
it's a mafia.
So-
It's a mob movie. It's Heat with Batman in it.
And it's not even like that good of a mafia movie.
Uh-huh.
If you want to like. put
Oh
it
yeah,
in, like,
absolutely
those
not.
terms.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
once you take it away from being just a Batman movie, I don't think it holds up as well as like being a
Mhm.
really great movie. Not like the other ones would be.
Mhm.
I think if those other ones weren't Batman movies, I think they'd be better than The Dark Knight.
Mhm.
If the criteria was the same.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my
For sure.
Batman take.
There you
but
go.
But Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, I think Forever changed the toy game, and I think they deserve their spot
Yeah.
in history for just like making Batman costumes just so like. And the cartoon too, of course,
Mhm.
the animated series, but they need their props for that, the pop
Mhm.
culture effect. We quote,
Sure.
you could quote Batman and Robin all day over any other of those other
Well,
Mr. Freeze with
yeah.
Mr. Freeze alone. You can make more quote. You could
That's true.
have more memorable quotes with that.
That's
than
true.
I think any Batman movie.
Yep.
Way more.
Yeah. All right. Seville, you want to go next?
Or
Or do you need a second to compile?
I think I could
Okay. All right. Go
punch it
ahead. All right.
I mean, if we're going from the bottom to the top,
Mhm.
That might be better.
Definitely, um, Forever is
Mm.
the one I never want to watch again. Like the Kilmer Batman, just
Mm-hmm.
he's
I
not a
feel it.
Batman. So
He's hard to digest.
he, but you know what though? I mean, it's not him. It's just the portrayal in the movie. Like he wasn't smart. He
I
got
don't know, man.
bested by everybody, and that's not what's supposed to happen to Batman. Like you're supposed to
feel it,
get
yeah.
over on him one time, and then he's like ready for you the next time. I don't feel with Kilmer, he ever got ready.
Mm-hmm.
He just got caught slipping the whole
He just
time.
had to look for like the best fucking riddle to tell, and that was it. If he just told that stumping riddle earlier, he would have won
True.
everything.
That's it. That's all it took.
It's kind of weak.
And then from there, I would say Batman Begins.
Mm.
Just because it's so much damn story.
Exposition,
And I
yeah.
just can't sit there and enjoy that. Like it just, it didn't
like
do anything for me.
when he goes into like the club with the gun and has this little stare down with like the
Mhm.
mob boss, and then he gets arrested in Asia, wherever the fuck.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a little,
Yeah,
it's a little much to portray.
Yeah.
like I think like it was a portrayal of Batman that people who knew the comics understood, but
Yeah.
being not of the comic world and just knowing Batman lore and watching movies,
Right.
you didn't want Batman to be arrested. You didn't want Batman to be doing these things. Like you wanted him to know better, I guess you want to say.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't get with that. Batman Forever, Batman Begins, and then I gotta go with Batman and Robin, because
Okay.
I mean it's not the best, but it's still not the worst. And you're right, the puns in that movie do go overboard, but it kind of is what makes that movie.
hmm
I think if it didn't have the puns, it would just be a shitty Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that.
It should have the fucking respect that The Room has. Like,
That's true.
I don't understand like the allure with that fucking flick. Like we could save that for another time. I just
Yeah.
wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
The Room, who's in that?
You remember
Fucking
when?
Oh Hi Mark, that movie. The
Yeah.
the shittiest movie ever made, but everybody loves it.
No, you
I
know
don't
what?
think
I don't
anyone
think
really
I've
loves
seen
it.
it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
Okay.
people really love it. I think they just.
Well, yeah.
I think they watched I love the '90s or something, or I love the 2000s, and like, oh, that movie came
Yeah.
out. I love
Wait.
it too. Like, I
Yeah,
think
we
they
can
should-
definitely talk. We can go into that at some point for sure. Whew.
Okay, and then moving upward again after Forever, would be, after Forever would be, the last Nolan one. What's that? Dark Knight Rises.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
last one.
Yes. So I would put that up there, and then after that, I would probably say, the OG Batman, '66 Batman.
Mhm. Oh shoot.
'Cause
Okay. Right on.
You got to give it its credit.
That's true.
I mean, it's not the best Batman. It was its time when it came out. It just followed what the blueprint was already. So
Right.
that was fine.
Because I don't
Like,
even think they started changing Batman's image like that in the comic book till like maybe the '80s or I don't
Yes.
even, maybe even the '90s. But it wasn't until well after that where they started making it darker. Like
Yeah, like
Batman-
80s for sure. I would
Like,
say. Well,
I
like
don't know
Frank
what-
Miller. That's for damn sure.
Like
Yeah.
when Batman Year One and also like All Star Batman and Robin, like that stuff changed the way Batman I think is.
Yeah,
looked at.
yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. So you have to go back to the golden age to appreciate the Adam West ones.
Mhm.
I didn't even rank it
Yes.
because I think it's so high up there that
That's
I can't.
fair.
even
It's
rank that
just
shit.
like it's there. It has its place in the heavens. Okay.
yes,
Um,
with taffy, saltwater taffy.
After '66 would be, The Dark Knight. I mean, of those three Nolan movies, that is to me the best of the bunch. And I think it does kind of set a standard for
Sure.
the Batman we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to kind of give it its props. And then from there, I mean, my top two would be Batman Returns, and then my number
Batman
one would be the
89.
original Batman.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
not the original Batman.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
The first version.
Yeah.
Batman. I mean, it's a slick line between Batman and Batman Returns, and I know Andrew's not like thrilled on those to watch them back to back, but you're right.
It's just too much. It's like an overload of like, it's like a kid on the spectrum going into like a fun house.
Oh,
Or, like,
Jesus.
going into like the jungle or something.
Strong image.
Like, to me it's a little too much.
And I mean, even though they are sequels and their stories connect, they are not in the same realm of each other's world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
you're right.
couldn't watch them back to back because it wouldn't make sense. So I do get that aspect of you should watch one and then watch another one, but never watch them kind of back to back.
Okay. So I guess I'll take us home then. In terms of the Batmobile.
Come on, Phil Collins.
Yeah,
Let's do
Jesus
it.
Christ. Cha-chung, cha-chung, cha-chung.
Oh wait,
What?
you
You
want
forget
the
something?
Batmobiles and all that stuff, right?
You can, yeah, if you want.
Austin's?
If you want, yeah.
I mean, just briefly, I'll touch on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can just give your number one, and if
Yeah.
you want to just go.
Yeah,
I was just
the
gonna do that.
Batmobile, the Keaton Batmobile
Yeah,
to me is just
definitely.
hands down
It's very
the
sleek.
best one.
Uh-huh.
I mean, iconic is 66 Batman.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But in terms of long-lasting Batmobile-ish power, I think it was Keaton's.
Yeah.
Because fucking 66 wasn't a convertible. Any
Yeah.
villain could have shot you in that.
That's
you ain't
true.
Protecting yourself.
Yes.
I think if I was gonna actually have a car to drive, it'd be definitely like the Nolan Batmobile.
Yeah.
If I was just like my everyday fucking car, that'd be super dope.
Of course.
But you know, yeah, I'm with you on the appearance. The original one and the convertible is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Badass.
And then what was the other one?
Moonlight.
It was
Villain.
Batsuit.
Oh wait, yeah,
I don't have
the
a
suit
favorite
too.
bat
Okay,
suit.
that's
I
fair.
mean-
That's
As
fair.
long as there's no nipples on it.
Yeah.
No nipples
The
and
six-
don't show
the
me
s-
nobody's ass when they suit up.
The
Like,
six pack is cool and like the fake muscles are cool, but the nipples.
oh
is
yeah,
like,
the fake.
that's
Yeah,
too-
because you're
too
trying
much.
to intimidate your villain.
Hey, what's
You are
more
not intimidating
than
me if I can
ass
see your
cheeks
nipples.
and
Yeah, your fucking ass cheeks. So yeah, no, I'm over it.
Greek
But yeah, go
gods.
ahead. I think that's it.
Okay, for sure. All right. So just to wrap it up, same definitely. Can't beat the Burton Batmobile. As far as the suits, I wouldn't go the Keaton from Returns because it's a little sleeker. The cowl's a little less chunky. He's got more of like just like it's more streamlined, the armoring. But I do like the the Batman Begins suit quite a bit. Other than the fact that if you look at his hands, it looks like black kitchen gloves.
Yes.
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 And
Good call.
yeah, let's see. I'll just run down the gamut. Number 9, Batman and Robin. Number 8, Batman 66. Just because I feel like feels just like a long ass version of the show. Like I'd rather just watch the show and just watch 2 episodes of the show than watch
Like, if it
that.
was more of an elaborate actual movie,
Yeah,
it's not about what
yeah.
it looks like, it's about the actual.
Yeah, just
plot.
like maybe if it's a little.
Got it.
But then you don't get the beauty of 5 villains.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like you get that team up, and that I think that's what made the movie. It's a team up of everything that everyone wants. If you watch an episode, you're only gonna get one of them.
Yeah.
You know, but I hear you.
And then again, I just don't have as much of like an emotional connection, and I just feel like I need to like go outside and be in the sun. Batman Returns because it's so bleak and like holy shit, this is like it's like some really dark ass. This is a really fucking dark Christmas movie.
Doesn't it make you want to drink milk though?
I'm sure, yes. And then I'm gonna go,
Like,
yeah.
Eat sushi.
That's true. And then half the linchpin is Batman Forever, even though like yeah, it's got its problems, but I still really like it. But I feel like I have to sometimes justify why I'm watching it, even though I can just enjoy it on its own. And then I go Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Mask of the Phantasm, which I know we didn't really talk about, but it's only like 70 minutes long.
Yeah, we got to do a whole
Yeah,
episode on that.
yeah,
one,
that's
'cause
for
I
sure.
fell asleep watching it
That's
late
cool.
night.
Oh, fair enough. Okay,
So
we'll
I need
revisit
more
that.
time to
We'll
get
revisit that.
into it.
And
And
I
then
need to watch it. I don't think I've ever.
and then
seen
yeah,
It's good. It's
89.
really good.
It's really
It's fun.
good. And then yeah, 89 Batman for sure. So you got to just give it up. I kind of want to watch it again now just to really soak up more Jack Nicholson. So shit.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I give you guys props for even putting him in the same list. I couldn't even put him in the same list. I didn't think it'd be like.
It'd be like
Yeah, I couldn't choose between the original like 2 and maybe the third, like Nolan one. I thought they just did really good jobs with both of them. Um, aside from it just like not always representing the comic well, I do like the Burton ones. I thought that was just like when I watched them again, I'm always reminded of how much I do like them. So.
Whew. All right, y'all, we did it. Holy fucking shit. That was almost as long as just watching a Batman movie in and of itself. Good lord. I did not expect that.
Imagine if we did a watch
just
along.
content generators. But
I say we do a watch along. I like a watch
like a running commentary. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Because then you get the stuff right then and there.
Yeah.
Stuff
You
to
get
talk
the
about.
takes are super clean
Yeah.
and clear. Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
like start with something like easily watchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down to do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, Saville, thank you so much for coming on. We'll definitely have you back for the Karate Kid episode, the Karate Kid Cobra Kai
for
episode.
Sure.
So
I am all about that life right
yeah,
now.
so we'll definitely
Are
get
you watching
there.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm still in season 1, but I'm like,
And-
Oh
and
Lord.
You're enjoying
6
it?
episode into season 1. Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I was
because I know some
well,
people.
I'll,
that
I'll
don't
save it,
like it.
for the next
Yeah,
time. But
for sure. Table
I-
that.
Let's do it. That's a great
I
show.
I like the way it's done.
Yeah.
It's very, it's really how a reboot should be done.
Mhm.
Like if you want to know the blueprint for a reboot, you take that, and that's what you do.
Just do that.
Yeah.
That sounds
they have the
good.
Right, they have the right people.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So why don't we sign off? So just to sum
Till
up,
next time.
till next time, we're too old for this shit. Yeah.
Yes, we are.